What's up, guys?
What's up, son?
That's a little loud.
Boy.
Yeah, we're peeking out a lot.
Yeah, that was a peak.
I don't know what the deal is with that.
Not a problem I usually have.
Why are you
Who's this
changing?
guy?
We can see all this, Matt. What are you doing? Don't distract us. What's up, Tom? Tom's joining us, y'all.
Finally, at
We
long
finally got
last.
Tom
Yay.
into the podcast.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
We've
We've
been talking about it.
talking about it for a while. Happy to have you on.
Thank you.
You know, for those of y'all who don't know, Tom holds a special place in our hearts. He was there for us when we knew no one.
Like few have been.
Few have been. Tom and his daughter were here the night before we opened the store, and was here till 2 a.m. helping us
Hanging stuff up.
slat wall and
That's right.
putting out product, and it was
And then came back the next day with help.
help. Yeah.
Well, that's right.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We were
Yeah.
struggling trying to hang this stuff
Yeah.
up because little did we know they were steel 2x4s inside the wall. Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. Brutal. So,
Well, let me just say, guys, I want to thank you for bringing a comic book shop here in Spring Hill. I mean, to open up a shop right in the middle of COVID took a lot of guts. I mean, you guys were set up at
I think
Bowling
there's a
Green up
fine
at the-
line between
that's
courage and
true.
foolishness.
And stupidity.
But we've needed a shop for
Foolishness.
years. I mean, down here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time coming, and it took a lot of courage for you guys to do that.
Well, let me ask you this question: Were you collecting, actively buying, or
No.
before we got here, or were you just like?
No. I mean, I would buy stuff here and there,
Uh-huh.
but you guys were the catalyst for me to
Man.
get back into it.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, it was just local.
We are purveyors of bad habits.
Yeah.
That we are. Yes. We have so many. Everything in here is something that you don't need.
Right.
But you
Yeah,
gotta have. But you have to
gotta
have it.
But it
You
was
gotta
great.
have it.
I mean, to have a shop local.
Yeah.
I mean, but like I said, it just took a lot of courage to open up the shop in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
And because we were a year into COVID at that point, right? Or
Well, we had spent.
We would, yeah.
We had spent
Turn the corner a little bit.
6-9 months at a flea market
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
in the middle of COVID. We kind of started off like we had masks on. And we realized real quick people in Kentucky just didn't care. So
And specifically, the flea market crowd weren't real concerned about that.
and I
either.
went the whole time at Flealand and never once even got sick. Not one time.
that whole time.
Mm-mm. It wasn't until
Oh.
my mom got vaccinated at school, and then I got it from her.
Wow,
So
that's something.
You can build your immune system up to many things.
at
at
Flealand.
Flealand.
Yeah.
Flealand was good to us. We got no hard feelings,
we
no
give it.
bad things to say. It was interesting to say the least. There was some they had the usual characters. There was the usual suspects there every day, and that part was interesting. But we
We went back recently.
we did, and we
Yeah.
And
visited.
it was the same character.
There were still a lot of the same characters there.
Yeah.
We had a real good neighbor that was next to us for pretty much the entirety we were there. His name was Alan. Big shout out to Alan,
Yeah.
who always would watch our stuff, or he would get out there early and kind of browse the outdoor vendors. And every
Yeah.
once in a while, he'd bring us a handful of
Mm-hmm.
Matchbox cars or something.
Oh,
Yeah. He started looking out for us.
Yeah,
And we became like little Flealand celebrities when we
Yeah.
go back. Yeah.
so what was that conversation like when both you guys decided to go brick and mortar? I mean, what?
well, they were sad to see us go for sure.
Yeah.
But
Who decided that? I mean,
well, we were always looking for a brick and mortar.
Okay.
It just took a long time to do it.
Yeah. The right time, the
Right time,
place.
right place,
This was a fixer-upper
right
for sure.
price.
Yeah.
no.
You know.
Yeah. So the fixer-upper part probably helped with the price. We dread what's coming up when we were new, but at the time, it was the most affordable place in a town that's short on affordable retail space.
Yeah, this just doesn't exist.
Ooh,
Oh, really?
It no, it does not. It's not a lot of affordable real estate in Spring Hill.
Did you guys look
As
at
you
Columbia at
know.
all?
Well, yeah,
Oh, we did actually. Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh,
It
we
was
looked
a
in
cool little
Murfreesboro.
spot.
We actually almost pulled the trigger on a place in Murfreesboro.
So
Really?
close, so close,
So close to Joey's house.
oh.
Yeah,
Well, that would have been nice.
it would have been,
I
but
think-
at the time it was crowded there, and of course that's thinned out since then. But at the time, it was
Crowded
just like,
in the sense that there were a lot of comic shops.
Yeah, at one point
In
there
the
were, 4 or
space, yeah.
5 within about 2-3 miles of each other.
This was a little
So-
further on the east side of town,
Okay.
northeast side of town, but it was.
we could have gotten away from it.
I
a
think we
little
could
bit.
have, but we would have had to do a lot of work in there.
No.
But it was right off a main drag, and we don't get me wrong, it was right down the street from Walmart. It would have been a good spot. It was just, I don't know, something about it was just last. I was like, I don't think this is our spot, man.
Something's weird. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was one of those places where it just had it would have lingered. Like you get some of these strips that'll have like certain things in them: State Farm office, a cleaners, a
vape store,
a vape store. This was a vape store, like an urban type of a. Like, I don't know, club clothes or something like that, you know.
In Murfreesboro?
Yeah.
There was also like a Jimmy John's next to it. And
but it was just
a used car lot. It was kind of
buy here, pay here.
Yeah,
it was
love
just
that.
Little stuff
Check
that
cash
just
in
like
places.
they were trying to bring it up, but we didn't want to be the first ones to be there for that. So
and the guy was trying to push hard. He's like, we're going to redo the parking lot. We're like,
he did.
And
All
you
concrete.
Did. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
it looks nice.
Okay.
See, my wife has a theory that close to every comic book store, there's either a pizza place or a sub place.
Well,
it's
and
usually because, you know, these places, they bring the cheaper rent per square foot, you know, and
yeah,
you kind of look for those little spots because also if you think about it, we got there's the CBD store next to us. There's the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And we share the same clientele, so we see people coming in. It's like we don't know if they're coming here or there. So
now there's ice cream shop next door. So it's we're getting a new restaurant that I'm hoping is going to be really good. So some things to accompany.
Yeah, we saw him. So,
good neighbors.
Doing some interviews the other day.
Yeah. So but that's one of the things, man, because even through a lot of the tough times and the lean times, or if me and Tommy are wiped out, or sometimes one is up, one's down, or we, both one way or the other together. The thing that has carried us through is kind of that community, that commitment to the community, and all of you guys. So, and I think most comic book shops would probably say that they feel a duty to community after a while. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You think about that. I was driving up 65. I think up north, down south. I was going to Brentwood, so I was driving up 65, and I was passing a van, and I noticed on the back of it, it had a Cadets Toys and Comics little sticker on the back, and I took a picture of it and sent it to Joey. I said, "We've made it."
It only took us 2.5 years to see one.
When you see that, now that
cool.
the kids are thinking, "Oh, that's the comic shop." And you hear some parents bring them in their kids in after a soccer game, and it's like a treat. So it's like to go to the comic shop and get a Pokemon card is a treat. So it's like there is that commitment we feel. It's like we gotta. This is a little bit bigger than us. Well,
you guys have always stood firm on being part of the community and helping the community, so that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, wanting to be a place where people can hang out at.
Yeah, 100%. That was always the mentality with us.
Yeah.
100%. So, yep. But we're here, and man, it's it's y'all that's kept us going. More than financially.
So anyway, that being said, I heard you got a little contest for Tom. Because those y'all don't know, Tom has got a volume of knowledge when it comes to some OG comic books.
Mostly Bronze Age.
Bronze Age. We'll pull out a book and go, oh, that's that book with so-and-so. And he knows everything that's happened in it. We're like, oh, my gosh.
And I always said, if we get Tom on the show, I'm going to throw some random books at him. So what I've done is I've picked, Tom hasn't seen these, but I've picked 5 different books that are Bronze Age in that era, and I just randomly picked a title, X-Men, number, Hulk, number. So what you'll do when I call it out is you'll say, all right, this is going to be, you'll say writer, artist, and maybe a brief synopsis of the story.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yeah,
We're
let's
ready.
try this.
All right. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, this is one that actually came out this week as a facsimile, so I thought that'd be a nice place to start. He does not know about it. Wasn't aware. I asked him. This is Uncanny X-Men number 129.
Okay. First appearance of Kitty Pryde, White Queen. Chris Claremont did the writing. John Byrne did the art. Terry Austin was the inker. I think Glennis Wynn was the colorist, I think. So
I don't even have the colorist pulled up here. Yeah.
I think if I remember right.
Kitty Pryde has been offered scholarships at both the Xavier Institute and Emma Frost Massachusetts Academy. Where will she go? Plus, the X-Men engage the Hellfire Club.
There's a great little part in there where they go to like I don't know, maybe like a little milkshake shop in that book. And Wolverine is Logan's looking at some of the comic books or magazines or whatever. And the owner of the milkshake place comes up and starts tapping Logan on the shoulder, saying, "Hey, this isn't a library. If you want to read it, you got to buy it." And then just right after that, I think a whole bunch of these robots come, smashing through the wall or something like that. And it's a great issue, great artwork, and that whole run is just phenomenal of X-Men. I mean, with the John Byrne, and that's actually the start of the Dark Phoenix saga.
Yeah, and it was in it. Of course, I was thumbing through it this week too, and it's got like it right in the middle in the centerfold there. It's got all the Empire Strikes Back toys, like a 2-page spread.
Oh, nice!
Yeah.
Oh man!
And it was funny because when you open up the facsimile, right, the first ad is a kid pumping a Crossman BB gun. It's like, man, those were the days.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, that's a great issue. And
wow.
if you've never read that Dark Phoenix saga,
I got to give points though. You knew the inker.
Oh, Terry Austin. Yeah, he was John Byrne through most of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep, John Byrne.
All right, what you
also
got next?
The cover artist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What you got next?
Next, we have got. Man, I'm really wanting to stump you here, Tom.
Oh, it'll happen.
Avengers number 187.
Okay, that's John Byrne, Terry Austin, and the writer. Let me think. I can't remember if John Byrne was doing the artwork. The writing on that or not. I'll go with John Byrne.
Okay, the writers.
Writers.
Oh, writers. Oh,
Mark Gruenwald.
oh,
Stephen Grant. David Michelini.
oh, yeah,
Penciler, John Byrne.
yeah.
All right. Colorist, George Roussos. Letterer, Jim Novak. All right, so
What's the story about?
the story.
Hold on.
That is. Oh, yeah. That's the. That's where actually the Scarlet Witch goes. The Dark Scarlet Witch. That's right after a couple issues where her and Quicksilver think that they are actually children of
Magneto.
Well, actually, this guy, I think in the issue before that, or a couple issues before that, this older guy shows up from Europe, and he has these like little wooden puppets of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and he actually transposes their soul into these little puppets. And this guy's kind of like a puppet master kind of thing, and the Avengers fight him in like maybe 183 or 184 or something like that. But it's kind of and then that issue that he's talking about, it's just a good backstory into kind of like an updated origin story of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
I mean, it's a big synopsis, but yeah, basically, you're dead on. I can't read this whole thing back.
Okay.
Yeah, he's right on it.
Got it.
Impressive. Very impressive. Okay.
That's a good run, too, actually.
Yeah.
John Byrne on those Avengers. Those are really good.
All right. I wasn't even trying to go for John Byrne here with these, but it just happened.
We got a guy here that only will buy John Byrne art books.
And writing, right? Is it
And
just
art.
art?
Okay.
Or
Mostly art.
Good.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
he's trying to collect all John Byrne's books,
Wow.
not just like X-Men or Superman. It's like anything John Byrne drew.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah.
Alpha Flight.
I
Love
know.
Alpha Flight.
Yeah,
I wonder if he has Alpha Flight.
probably.
All right. Here we go. We got three more, Tom. This one is Incredible Hulk, number 201.
201. Okay, that is so in the issue before that, Hulk shrunk down into the brain of Betty Ross's husband to try to fight this like cancerous tumor that was in his brain. At the end of that issue, he ripped off his helmet that he was communicating with Doc Samson, and he was going to start to grow again. And so Doc Samson made a decision to shrink him down even further, and he gets shrunk down into this microscopic world, and he's actually fighting this guy that kind of looks like on the cover. He almost looks like Conan, but it's not Conan. He's kind of like on this like little beast kind of thing, and that's oh yeah, it looks like Conan, doesn't it? I mean, it's a dead ringer.
Wow.
It says Barbarian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, same outfit and everything, and that.
Loincloth.
Okay, now let me think about this one. I think the artist is Joe Stanton, I think. Maybe, or no, Buscema. I think it's John Buscema.
You're right. It's Buscema.
Yeah.
The inker is Joe Stanton.
Joe Stanton, yeah. He's the anchor.
Can you think of the colorist?
I want to say Glynis Wynn.
Glynis Wynn.
Wow. Wow. I'm impressed.
Letterer?
Way to go.
Can we keep going? Letterer?
Letterer. I'll say Novak again.
Nope.
No?
It's John Costanza.
Oh.
John Costanza.
Serenity now. Let's see here.
All right, what you got next?
All right. Conan the Barbarian. So we'll go right into it. That universe on that Cult 201 microverse.
By the way, you're wearing a shirt with Hulk.
Yeah, this is actually the next issue. This is one of my favorite issues. Yeah, this is the very next issue of that.
It's funny.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here we are. This is Conan the Barbarian 192.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wow.
We're going to stump him.
192.
So this 192 is March of 1987.
Okay. I definitely don't know this one. I'm going to say Buscema again.
Okay.
Because he was doing their artwork on that forever after Barry Windsor Smith left.
Val Zemeckis.
Oh, yeah.
What book is this?
Conan, when was it, 192?
192.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that I wouldn't have
I was really
any
trying
idea
to throw a
about.
curveball there. All right, here we go.
Who did the writing on that, though?
The writing on that.
It wasn't Roy Thomas still, was it?
It is James Owsley.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You didn't even heard of that guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, we're not going to catch up to you here. So, you're going to. Let's see here. Defenders 89.
Okay, 89.
This is August 26th of 1980.
Can I look at the cover?
You may.
Ooh.
Death in the Family, it says.
This one's tough, too.
I think it's a little past your time. And it's a little.
A little bit past, yeah, but
Is that like a mid '80s book?
It is actually 1980.
Oh,
yeah, I should this. Let me see.
It has 4 writers on this one.
just pick one.
Maybe Grunwald, one of the writers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe Al Milgrom doing the artwork. Maybe not.
No.
Okay. Because
Actually,
artwork.
did you say Alan Milgrom?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the editor.
Yeah, that one
Penciler
stumped
is
me.
Don Perlin,
Oh.
inker Pablo Marcos, and George Roussos. So,
Is it
Yeah.
Pablo or Pablo?
in Kentucky, it's probably Pablo, but it's the way it's really pronounced, Pablo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pablo.
Perlin did their work
Pablo.
on that Werewolf by Night over there, the first appearance of
Oh, yeah.
Night. That's a Perlin book.
Yeah. So, I mean,
So not bad.
solid.
Not bad.
Very
Okay.
solid. Yeah. You are, that's three for, or,
3.5.
well, yeah, 3.5, I would
Okay.
say.
That's
Yeah.
a pass.
I would have
Out
not
of
gotten any
5.
of those.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten any of that.
None of them. Yeah.
I was never one of those.
Impressive.
When growing up, I never like looked at a book and went, "Oh, so and so's writing that. Oh, so and so's the artist." I never thought about that. Never once
Oh.
thought about it. I was just like, "Oh, it's a Batman book."
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd see names and kind of recognize names, but for me, it was like, because I remember like when I first got back into books, people were like, "Oh, so and so's writing on that book." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Why does that matter?"
Oh.
I remember thinking that. I was like, "Why does that? Why do you care? Well, I don't care about that. Is it a good story?"
Which is a good way of looking at it, too.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I've been doing this for a while, it's like, so 100% makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it certainly
100%.
does. And I would like to mention this past week, well, I think the weekend before, there was an artist that passed away, Keith Giffen.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Legion of Superheroes for a long time. He did some Marvel stuff.
He did a lot of Justice League.
Yeah, he did the
Justice League
Justice League
International.
reboot, the fun stuff.
Mm.
So he was really good. And there was a book I bought when I was younger, Defenders 50, and it's an awesome book, anniversary issue. So on the front page, when you open up, there's just a great big face of the Hulk, and he is snarling about something. And at that time, Giffen was doing kind of like Kirby stuff.
Okay.
He was kind of copying Kirby a little bit, and it looked like Kirby, and I loved Kirby at that time, and that's what got me to buy the book. I mean, I was buying Defenders anyways, but I was just so hot about this book, And then in the middle of that book, there's a centerfold. They're fighting a group called the Zodiac, and there's this one page where it's the Hulk, Nighthawk, Hellcat, Valkyrie, and Moon Knight was in that storyline for 3 issues. And it is just a pose that is just unbelievable. Yeah, that's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's too bad you can't open up that first page there.
I don't know. Matt can probably find it.
Yeah, you can bring it up.
Matt can probably find it.
Yeah,
Defender
the first
50.
page of 50, and then even the centerfold is
Centerfold?
just yeah.
Fantastic 50th issue.
It has a cutout view of their headquarters.
Oh, nice.
Because they were funded by Nighthawk. He had just a ton
okay.
of money, whatever his name was. I think it was Norris. I think Brad
A lot
Norris.
of those guys weren't rich.
Yeah. And it was
Is
just...
that it right there? That right there?
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, right there down. Yeah, look at that.
Over. 2 to the right. There you go. Click that bad boy.
Look how cool that is. I mean, doesn't it looks like Kirby, doesn't it, with all the shadowing there and just the lines and everything? But that's Keith Giffen.
Man, it does look like that face. It looks, yeah, it does look like.
Is that Valkyrie?
That's Valkyrie, and then you got Hellcats, and then you got Moon Knight above him there.
Wow.
And then if you go back,
So like when you opened that up for the first time, you were like, "Oh, that's so."
And look at that Hulk picture right beside it.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I'd like to get that on a T-shirt.
Oh, that's really small.
The Scorpio must die or something like that.
Yeah, we get it. We get the gist of it. That's pretty cool. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, look how cool that is. I mean, that's just...
Yeah, that is pretty great. We missed you yesterday all painted up in green for Halloween in the Hill.
I thought about that, and I had a couple other things I had to do, but
it's cool.
I bet it was fun.
So were you? Let me ask you this: when did you first get into comics? Like, why?
The first
If you
books
can
I bought
remember.
was Hulk 189 or 198, which was a great book. I remember buying that, and then that's what started me on the Hulk. One of my best friends, he would go to a flea market every weekend with his family, and he would come back with maybe 10 comic books. Because at that time, you can go to a flea market. They didn't have price guides back then for the most part.
Yeah.
So you could buy comic books for a quarter, maybe 30 cents or whatever. So he was bringing back all these great old horror titles like Monsters on the Prowl and I mean all this great reprint stuff. And so that's what really got us going. And then Joey, I was going to ask you some early comic books I remember getting. There was a little shoe store in the town next to me, and whenever you went into the shoe store, tried on shoes, they would give a comic book called March of Comics. Did your dad do that at his shoe store? You remember that?
Man,
I don't remember your dad giving out anything.
They're called March of Comics, and they were kind of basically like Bugs Bunny, Disney stuff, Hanna-Barbera, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty neat. I have some of those.
No, not that. What one thing when the kids left the shoe store that was free was the big red goose. So they would get, if they bought red goose shoes or any kids shoes at all, there's a big red goose that was in there, and the kid could put a dime in it or whatever it was. And of course we'd give them the dime out of the register, and they would put it in there, and it'd lay a golden egg, and the golden egg had a prize in it.
I do remember. I do
that's
remember
cool.
that. But I'd forgotten it, but I do remember. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So.
But I lived in a small town, and we just had a little convenience store. So I was lucky to get like 2 or 3 issues in a row of a certain title.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating.
Yeah,
I
bet
mean,
it was.
Like Avengers 164 through 166 is a great storyline. John Byrne, they were working on that too. And but for years, I only got the first part. And then I found the second part like about 2 or 3 years later.
Oh, my God.
And then eventually, I think maybe 5 years after that, I was able to get the third part.
Yeah.
So it was real kind of luck of the draw what you're going to get at these convenience stores. So, and then back in my mom's hometown, they had a newsstand, and they had just tons of comic books, which was just fantastic.
Yeah, you were in heaven.
Oh yeah, you go in there, and you smell the tobacco, and you smell the candy, and all those magazines lining the walls. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they would.
It's like an old general store.
No,
It's actually a supermarket.
No, this was like a regular, like little tiny newsstand right next to the movie theater.
Oh,
It was probably about as wide as this store. No, it was inside.
It was inside.
Yeah, it was called the Newsstand. It was in Grove City, Pennsylvania, and you walked in and just a straight line of comic books and magazines.
You were talking about a while ago with they were like, you gonna read, you gonna buy that? Yeah, they used to say that to us over at Morehead.
Library, bub.
Yeah, it's not a library. You got to buy that if you're gonna read it.
Yeah, those guys are little.
Yeah. So
how do we know if we like it?
Yeah, we
And
weren't.
the guy
exactly
Book Trader
reading
was
those.
not even. He wasn't much better.
No, he wasn't.
He was like, "Get out of here, kid."
Oh,
Yeah,
But he always had a couple of boxes we could go through.
yeah, that's cool.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was always in saran wrap, like they didn't have a bagging board. They were just wrapped in like grocery cellophane or something like that.
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No.
Yeah,
No.
It was in bags and boards.
No. I mean, if I had a couple of nickels in my pocket, we could get something. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. So
But those were fun days. I mean, it was fun doing that.
yeah.
'Cause I think when I was seriously buying books, they were like 30, 35 cents.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, it started at 25 cents, but really got into it like 35 cents.
yeah,
I mean, 3 for $1 almost. Wow.
I find it interesting that some of these lifelong collectors that come in here will basically relate their comic collecting experience to the price on the comic book.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
it's-
remember, what was it, about a year and a half ago that the fella came in
Again,
from Franklin.
that's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing I never thought about was like the actual price tag. I mean, I guess I did when I started seeing them get up to like $3 and $4, but like, I mean, you can kind of retrace these, and go
Mhm.
Yeah, we were in the dollar world.
70. I remember, I think they went from 75 cents to $1,
Yeah.
$1.50.
Yep.
High school, they kind of got into like $1.50 range.
Yep. For sure.
I bet people are like, $1? I'm not paying $1 for a comic book. Well, don't come to 2023.
Yeah. My gosh.
Lord have mercy. Show you a $10 comic book
Yeah.
Yep.
with a foil, with a foil wrapper.
Speaking of modern comics, care to guess what was the best-selling comic book this week
Mhm.
here in Cadets Toys and Comics?
I think I heard you mention it, so I'm not gonna guess.
Okay.
World's Finest.
No.
I have no idea.
Well, it's an easy one. It's a little anticlimactic, but it's Amazing Spider-Man.
That's because we got a lot of pulls.
Well, I put the pulls in with it.
Yeah,
So,
that's a lot of pulls on ASM.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like what sells off the shelf.
Well, yeah. I could tell you this one.
Harley
This-
Quinn probably was
Oh.
the top one.
Yeah, that's right. Harley Quinn came in second. Only just got
If that's
nudged
the
out
case,
by one.
if that's the case though, then Harley Quinn was a better seller because I know for a fact it doesn't have as many subscribers to it. But when people saw that Frizen cover on it, they definitely doubled down on it.
Yep.
A lot of people picked that book up this week.
And the Gabriel Del Auto.
Yeah, that was
had,
good, too.
Had a variant on
Heck.
it too.
If Matt gets both covers, it's a good book.
Ooh, well, true. I don't know if he got Captain Marvel, but Captain Marvel came in.
I don't think he got the
third.
He didn't. He's not a David Nakayama fan.
Yeah.
Did you get
okay.
the full Nakayama, Matt?
No.
See, he didn't buy it. But you did get the 2 Harleys.
No.
What? I thought you pulled those.
No.
Well, I guess they won't. Take that back then.
The rest of them were Uncanny Spider-Man came in after Captain Marvel. Then Detective Comics. Detective Comics had a good little week there. And Somebody's Killing the Children, and then Gone by Jock, the oversized prestige book.
Oh.
So those were the stats of the week, brought to you by
The Louisville Cardinals.
Louisville Cardinals and
It's the
Black
first thing I
Rifle
saw.
Coffee.
Black Rifle Coffee.
I would like to have either one of those as a sponsor.
Oh my! I would. I'm not my Cats fan, but I would go with if the Cards want to throw us a couple bucks to keep the podcast going.
Their money's
The money's good here.
yeah. Probably
NIL deal.
Probably reach out. They've gotten some of my money, and the Union's gotten some of yours. You might just reach out and see what we can do.
Union's gotten very little of my money over the last decade. Most because I don't like the president.
Yeah.
But she's leaving finally. So
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
the last time I did send a check in, it said
You can
you can
teach.
designate where it goes to the school. So it goes to if you don't designate it, it goes to the general fund.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Or you can say, hey, I want it to go to the theater or to the basketball team or whatever.
Right.
Mine said the Presidential Search Committee.
There you go. Well, there you
I
go.
literally I wrote it on the check. I was like,
You can tell
to
the next-
Presidential Search Committee.
You can tell the next president that, and then you can teach online classes from right here in Spring Hill.
I don't know who the next president's going to be.
Well, no.
I'm as nervous about
That
that
may
as the
be-
President of the United States.
That might be your way in. So
Maybe.
Mm.
Maybe.
So.
Well, that's the reason I went and got my master's in film was I wanted to teach,
Yeah.
but that didn't work out.
Can you imagine? Yeah, Union College being like the primo place in Kentucky to go for film.
They got a lot of work to do if that's the case. I mean,
Really
really.
need you there, Tom.
They have
Me. Tommy.
I mean, Asbury was a good school. I mean, Western's got a great broadcasting program. Eastern's trying to compete. I mean, UK's is okay to be a big university. I don't know if Louisville has one, but it's not the first thing that comes to my mind. But yeah, they got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But they could be. I mean,
I was talking to one of our customers.
at one time, Union College had one national championship, and they've gotten
in
more.
what?
And the thing about it is, it's not. There was no NCAA or NAIA for this particular sport. All right, so our school would ride against Michigan or UNC, but it was the cycling team.
Wow.
And we never really promoted that. I thought was crazy because it was a national championship. I mean, they beat Division I schools.
Riding up in the mountains. That's wild.
That's nuts. Wow, good for that.
And ultimately, about I don't know, I think 2017. I think it was 2017. We finally won a basketball national championship.
Well,
anyway,
how about that? That's good. Good on Union. Them Bulldogs.
Yeah, I don't know how we got off on the college things.
I don't know. Yeah. ADD moment brought to you by
Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah. So, anyway, I don't even know where to go from there. So, I've got notes here. I was looking at my CLZ app. You use CLZ?
I love CLZ.
So, when you update your values, have you got it connected to cover price?
I do not do that. I jumped in when it was free, so I haven't paid for the additional.
Yeah.
I got grandfathered in.
I have we've been buying some collections here lately, and of course, I use the cover price, and it's an easy way just to add the book real quick into that, and then I can get a list of all the books that are there that I want to look up the prices for, and then I can see basically how much we're looking at. Yeah. But once they're in there, it kind of shows like a big part of what we have here in the store, and those values have been going down over the past 3 weeks when I've been using that more often, more and more and more, and it's just like, man, it's
like modern stuff or
well, it's
not necessarily, no.
Okay.
Yeah, like the X-Men stuff.
Well, it's like this
kind of tanking a little
customer
bit.
came in, I guess it was last week, maybe the week before, I can't remember. And we bought some books off of them, those X-Men books that you see up in the case. But we also, she goes, hey, she showed me on her phone. She said, I had 2 of these and I've sold one, but I'm thinking about selling the other one. She goes, maybe from the picture you can look at the condition and tell me what you think it's worth. And I did. And, it's Werewolf by Night 32.
Oh.
And I was like, well, we haven't had that book in here. I'd love to buy it. And then I just said, based off what it is, I said, this is, $650, And she was like, oh, I don't know about, you could just tell she was thinking it was going to be like $1,000.
Yeah.
And I had to tell her, I said, listen, 2 years ago, when before the TV show and, in the height of COVID, that book probably was an $800 book, $850, But right now, I mean, prices are, so which kind of, it's good in a way that we can look at it and go, our buying experience is a little bit better for us. However, it's like if you are trying to cash in on books because you need cash, it's like we're straight up telling people if this is something you really want to hold on to, maybe you ought to hold on to it.
Right.
Unless you just really need the money, because this is what we're going to offer you for it. Yeah. Because it's just where the market is right now. We tell people that with Funko Pops. People call all the time about Funko Pops, and we're like, hey, you guys buying Funko Pops? The first thing that goes through our head is like, oh my God.
There's such a,
and then we're like,
yeah.
This is what we're going to, we tell them over the phone straight up. We're like, look, we're going to tell you right now, if it's a common Funko Pop, you're not going to get a lot of money for it.
So why has that slowed down, Funko's?
Funko basically bottomed out because
It's a lot of
do you remember the
things.
90s comic crash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funko
went through the same problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, their stores closed left and right last year.
Wow.
Those stores were only doing Funko Pops.
Yeah, it's a systemic thing. It started with Funko though, overproducing, and then throwing away. And
then people were overbuying, thinking they were spec buying, thinking, I'm going to have this. This is a $300 pop. No, it ain't going to be like that forever.
And all those folks are gone now because they're trying to sell off, so there's not this demand there anymore, and it's just really bottomed out.
It's tough.
So we're back to the real Funko fans now that are coming in and buying things. So it's more
truthfully
reality based.
Broken some open that were here forever. Put them $3. Set them in a bin up front.
Good.
Sell them left.
Yeah.
They
because
move then?
they actually look better if you take them out of the box.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And they don't take up as much space.
Yeah.
But
know
people got so obsessed with in-box collecting,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
which I think is the same problem
Condition of the box. Ooh,
with
no, I
CGC
don't
grading
think so.
With the slab. Sure.
slabs.
Yeah.
Matt may argue with us, but that's Matt. Matt likes the slabs.
They
Matt's
do
got the
have
eye.
a
though.
nice shine.
Matt's got the eye for the slab.
So what do you think is going to replace Funko?
They're not going to go any. They're not going away. In fact, they've not even really slowed down on production as much
Oh,
as
they
you
haven't.
think.
Okay.
I think they're being more selective about what they put out, and I don't
Yes.
think they're dumping it in waves and waves and waves.
Okay.
But it's not only these small, you know, hobby shops like us that have kind of just cut back on buying a lot. You know, you go into Walmart now, and their section is really small.
Mm-hmm.
Target
Target's the
has
same
really
way.
condensed.
Yeah.
So a lot of these big box retailers have done the same thing. You know, if you really want to cash in on Funko Pops, go to Five Below or Ollie's or something. You know, you're gonna,
Yeah, nice selection there.
you know, believe it or not, you can just find them real cheap.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so yeah, it's all these corrections, you know, that are taking place, and it's just taking a little while. I mean, even us, like, we'll pull books out of these boxes that we have had and at price back when prices were higher, and they're you know, they're definitely a lot lower now, which we would mark them down anyway because we've had them that long. But yeah, it's just the market's doing something and is coming down. Of course, people that are selling these things are, you know, not quite with that.
it kind of seems like right now the only thing, at least in our little universe, that's skyrocketing is Lorcana cards.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great for you. I mean, it's
Well,
It's been
they're like
really
shooting
nice.
stars.
oh
While you got it, it's bright and fun, you know. But
Yep.
we burned out of that in the first week.
Yeah,
You know, it was like,
hours,
and it's
not
been
even the
months
first week.
since that. We don't even know when the next batch is going to come.
oh
We get phone calls daily. Hey, when's that? You getting that Lorcana restock? Hey, you got those
Y'all doing
pre-orders?
Yeah, y'all doing pre-orders on those?
We're like, look, bro, let me tell you what our distributor told us. I got no idea.
yeah,
Literally, that's what he
no
said.
kidding.
He said, he goes, I can string you along all day long, but the short answer is, I don't know.
Wow.
yeah. We just have to have a big chunk of money sitting here for when they say, "Hey, they're here," and so that's how that works. Yeah,
And they won't last long either.
mm-mm.
They'll go really fast,
Yeah,
which is good.
allocations.
It's cool.
Yeah,
So is Nick Comic Culture still doing the games?
Yeah, we're still doing games.
Okay,
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. We didn't do one yesterday because of Halloween in the Hill, but
Okay.
we'll get that back. It's back swinging.
yeah, we've had some success with playing. I think everybody's just at a point now. They've been doing it for a few months since the release that they just want more cards.
They just
more
want
cards to play.
a little more cards. So that's kind of
Yeah.
holding back the in-store play because people just they want to have more cards or have something to buy when they get here, but nobody can find these
Well,
anywhere.
in our experience with that too is this TCG seems to be more players than collectors, whereas Pokemon has a lot of kids who just want to buy the cards. You know, there's not a lot of, we don't have, you know, serious players for Pokemon here. Not to say that they're not, because Murfreesboro stores have some good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We just don't have players
we
here.
just don't
We
have
have
players here.
collectors. Yeah.
It's
We got so many kids that are into it.
Yeah.
And Pokemon Swap yesterday was, I mean, it was wall to wall in here. I mean, there was a guy in here like back issue browsing in the middle of the Pokemon Swap. He was back here in the corner, and he was literally like, he had the box up here, and he was like, you know, it was like he was, you know, trying not to get in the way. It was kind of funny.
It had been packed in here yesterday with Halloween
It
and
was pretty packed.
It's always in spurts, but yeah, there's times where we had 25 people in here.
some fun costumes.
Had some fun costumes. Absolutely.
We need to vote on those. We gotta get
do.
that out. Yeah,
Was
we gotta do
thinking
that.
about that.
We gotta get sidetracked.
Doctor Strange. You
I didn't do Doctor
Strange?
Strange. this
Oh.
year. I didn't dress up.
Did you do
Sarah
know
and
it.
I did.
from Dirty Dancing? Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Baby and Johnny.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you what when you're really tall, it's not easy to just go dress up.
Tommy was comic book shop owner.
I was
yesterday.
I dressed up as Toby.
You nailed it. It's Toby.
Dressed up as Toby.
Toby.
That's funny. Oh gosh.
No, I was comic book guy.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Here
But
we
yeah,
go.
it was a good.
That's the. I was just showing Tom here. I added music too.
Oh,
as
that's
well.
awesome.
Better stop it before we get.
Stop it! Hurry quickly.
We have like
15
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. So we had because I was like if she's not standing right beside me, I look like a maitre d' or a waiter. Yeah. Can I take your order? Yeah. How many will be tonight? Yeah. So, and my daughter was Abigail was Bloody Mary. So
Oh.
yeah. So she
Wow.
she went to the dark side for this Halloween.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, last year you went as Popeye and Olive. Well, you went as Popeye.
Was that
And
last
Sarah
year?
went, or was that the year before?
I think it was the year before.
Was it the year
I
before?
think it was the year before. I don't
Okay.
remember last year.
That was a good
I
costume.
don't remember what you dressed up last year either.
Yeah. No. We had Halloween in the Hill. Gosh. Okay.
I don't.
Maybe it was last year. I don't know.
I'll tell you somebody that's Mason is dressed up every year we've had.
He's brought it.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
been
He's done well.
yeah.
What did he do this year?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I can see him pulling that off.
First year he was Winter Soldier. Last year was Nightwing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this year was
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know who to really pick it because you have people with elaborate costumes, and then you had families with. Oops, I need to turn that off. You just What are our categories on that?
Last year we did best overall,
Yeah.
most creative, and scariest.
Okay. We didn't have a funniest.
We can make that up. I mean,
Well,
we do
I
whatever
just
we want
don't
to
know.
do.
I know, but I was thinking last year we had something like that.
I don't think we had funniest. I think it was scariest, best overall, and most creative.
Oh, you know what? Last year my costume.
Oh,
I came as Wheels.
He dressed his wheels.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah. I was
You
Wheels.
didn't see the
last
picture
year.
of that?
I don't know if I saw that.
Oh,
that's funny.
I
The
gotta
reason
bring that up.
the reason we did is I think the reason it's a little forgettable is because we did it on the day of Halloween and just we should have done it on the weekend before, and that's why we went back to doing that this weekend. So this Tuesday at the shop it'll be Halloween in the Hill light. It'll be we'll have some candy and some free Pokemon cards and some free comic books, and if you come in and grab some. But yeah, our Halloween in the Hill event was Saturday. So yeah, okay. When is Wheels?
I would have loved to have seen Wheels' face.
I don't think he got the joke.
Oh,
I don't think he got the joke. I think he was a little like, why are you dressed up as me, bro?
Yeah.
Like there was no, I think, sometimes he takes it a little bit literal, but that was kind of, he wasn't mad or anything or his feelings weren't hurt, but I think he was, why are you dressed up like me, bro? I don't think he got the joke.
It's weird, man. It's weird.
But it was, I thought it was a hilarious costume. If I can find it, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I just got to go back through 10,000 Pokemon swap posts.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm in January because there's my birthday post.
So what? Have you
Christmas.
read any good comic books lately, Tom? Got anything that you can recommend?
Well, Bronze Age.
In general,
Anything.
overall.
Yeah, you know what? Anymore, I am really interested in the history of comic books.
Okay.
So not too long ago, I read a book called Marvel: The Untold Story
Okay.
by Sean Howe, and that was good. There's a company that I think it's called Tomorrows. They publish a lot of history of comic book stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They put out a book of quotes of everything that Stan Lee said about Jack Kirby and everything that Jack Kirby said about Stan Lee throughout their entire, professional career. Because, all the controversy about who created what and
Right.
who did what and everything. And that's kind of interesting. I mean, that's neat. So I've been reading that. I picked up the Alpha Flight Omnibus.
Oh.
And that's a great series. I mean, I remember when that came out, I was just so excited by that first issue. John Byrne, of course.
We get that a lot. Alpha Flight #1.
Yeah, I like that a lot. But stuff you guys have on your walls, I mean, those old Chamber of Chills, I've been pulling those out for Halloween, and Uncanny Tales from the Grave. I mean, all those books are just fun to read. And EC reprints
Mm-hmm.
from back in the 50s.
We got a couple X-Men books recently too.
Yeah, I came in, what was that, Tuesday or Wednesday?
Something like that earlier this week.
Oh, from that collection that I bought. Yeah.
I think one of them was issue 23, and I think 29, and
Some early books,
yeah. And you know what? Those are just, I mean, they're really good, kind of like reader copies, but they're fun to read. I mean, they're absolutely, especially like you were talking about
the
earlier.
origin of comic books.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about a book that you pulled out that had the Crossman era. Just looking at the ads are great because I think that one X-Men, that early one, I think it was like issue 20 or maybe 23, had a house ad for the Merry Marvel Marching Society.
Oh, yeah.
You send in $1 and you get all this cool stuff for $1. I mean, that's a lot
Isn't
of
it
fun
weird
to
to
look
think
at
like that's actually how you got stuff in the mail? Like,
Yeah.
now you just click on your phone and get stuff
get
from
it.
Amazon, but
Right.
like, that's how you like would, if you wanted like a kid's decoder set, like you literally had to
Yeah.
cut out proof of purchase or the coupons that everybody cut out of the Marvel books that were all like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
But
I had to
news-
print off a list of the Marvel stamp books and
Oh,
put
yeah.
it in my notebooks just so I can look for those and make myself familiar so I don't make that mistake again.
and then
Yeah.
you had to wait months for people to mail that back to you.
Oh
Oh,
gosh,
yeah, absolutely.
checking
yeah.
the mailbox every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But new stuff, I love that Justice Society book.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Bringing
I've
it back
enjoyed
to
that.
the
World's
news.
Finest.
That's Jeff
I've been reading
Johns.
it here and there. Yeah. What else have I been reading? Kind of modern stuff.
I had the All-Star
The
Comics
Hulk
this
book.
week.
Oh, the new
yeah,
run,
new run. That's interesting.
it's better than Starship Hulk.
Gosh, that was awful.
Man, it was bad.
That was really bad.
Because I was looking for a jumping on point for Hulk for myself, and yeah,
That was a jumping off point as
it
well.
was. Yeah, I
Jump
jumped
on and
on,
jump off.
jumped off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Getting off this train.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
No.
sure.
What else? Yeah, definitely that Hulk because it has a little flair of like the Immortal Hulk, a little
Yeah.
bit kind of like the the monsters and stuff. Because back in the day, back in the Bronze Age, Hulk would fight a different monster every issue, more or less.
Had to.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun.
It's not like Hulk was going to go like beat up the mob boss. That just wouldn't.
No,
that wouldn't
uh-uh.
make sense.
No,
You know.
and then I started rereading or getting back into X-Men for the first time in like probably
Really?
decades.
Mm.
I bought that one issue that came out about last month. After I don't want to give away any spoilers. If
Hey, don't worry about it.
okay,
If it came out last month, it's no big deal.
okay.
It's already been all over the
I
internet.
think it was like the issue 25 or the
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that I think that was a good jumping point. Uncanny Spider-Man. I don't think I enjoyed that as much as I thought. Nightcrawler being Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
That was a little bit of a disappointment to me. But Conan is good.
yeah. I've heard good things about Conan. I've just never been into that kind of thing.
That Gru miniseries, I was kind of disappointed with that.
Yeah,
That was a bummer.
It was.
'Cause I know you're such a Gru fan.
Because every single issue, him and his dog Rafudo are just walking around trying to find food, and they're starting to realize that all the game, like deer and everything else, they've retreated to, woods, but the woods used to be around this town, and all these people have chopped down the trees and done all kinds of stuff. So the whole book is about conservation.
okay.
And I don't want that in a book right now. I want to read about Gru just tearing apart an army and
Oh my gosh,
funny stuff.
conservation. Yeah,
Yeah, so
Well,
Wow.
unfortunately, that's the theme of a lot of books.
it is.
I mean, I think I put down Nightwing when he says, I'm going to take Alfred's fortune and, which is a whole nother conversation, but I'm going to take Alfred's fortune. I want to save the environment. I went, I stopped
Yeah.
reading it after that.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I love Nightwing. Everybody loves Nightwing, but it's just like, it's not, there would be a book I'd be excited to get, and I don't even
Mm-hmm.
contemplate it anymore.
And I got the first issue of that.
Believe it or
Werewolf
not,
by
I'm
Night.
enjoying World's Finest, but Green Arrow,
Haven't read
the
that.
new Green Lantern, so far, the Justice Society book is pretty good.
Did you like Flash?
I didn't like the first. I like the first issue. I haven't, so I'm curious to see where it goes.
Okay.
I didn't read like Hawk Girl or Power Girl or any of that stuff.
Need to be on
What is
Ice
that?
Cream
Oh,
Man.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This was my read of the week that I loved. Ice Cream Man number 37. Ice Cream Man is always good. Some are better than others, but like this week was
That book went on
was
hiatus for a while,
good
didn't
one. It did for a little while. Yeah. Yeah.
I
But-
like it because each issue is kind of like a standalone.
Which
is.
we
Isn't
we
it?
had that
Or close to
conversation
it?
last week,
Okay.
talking about how we don't think writers are capable of.
Oh.
We don't know if it's a writer's thing or if it's an editor's thing or if it's just like, hey, drag this out as long as you can, because we don't know that they can wrap up a story in one issue. That was
Yeah.
a conversation we've had, and then we were talking in the shop the other day about how, like, man, some of these books come out of the gate hot, and then 2-3 issues in, and it's like,
They fall
Yeah.
off. Yeah. Ice Cream Man's 37, gone strong ever since the beginning. Some heavy stuff, like content wise, and some of it's more to the horse side, some of it's more to the it's kept. Sometimes it's a bummer when you read it, but they all really make you think. And so
They're great.
yeah,
I
this
got the
one
trade
was
paperback.
was
Was
a
like
really
the first
good
6 issues?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal stuff.
Phenomenal
just
stuff.
Really,
Yeah,
out there.
and in every single issue, if you look at those, there's some, I don't know what the significance of Holt is in W. Maxwell Prince's world, or whoever's on that creative team that's with that, but there's some kind of a Holt reference. It's either a brand or it's a
Like your last
business in
name, Holt?
town. Holt.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm always looking for that too.
That's interesting.
But Wonder
that up.
Woman,
Look
I've
that
been
up.
liking
yeah.
that. Wonder Woman number
Forgot
2.
about that. I read the first issue.
Yeah, it's over there.
Interesting.
So
You
it's-
did like it?
I did like it. It's it kind of runs a parallel story to
Who's this, Tom King?
It's Tom King. But up to when Wonder Woman was coming up and being a warrior, and in this issue, she's taken on the force of the United States Army. So it's good. It's something that I would like my daughter to read, because it shows strong woman and
Good.
facing
Yeah.
fears and standing up for what's right and never giving up, and all. It's definitely a I am Wonder Woman, hear me roar kind of a issue, but I like where they're going with it. So as far as what I'm reading and I like right now, it's those two, at least this week. What about you, Tommy? Anything?
Well, no, man, they're, World's Finest is
So yeah,
still killing it for me. It's probably my favorite book to come check out. But
I picked up a book that you talked about last week. Let me see if I can get the title right. Beneath the Trees.
where nobody sees.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet. It's in my hole over
actually-
there.
unfortunately,
You guys
I've
talked
gotten
about it.
sucked into this whole cover buying.
Oh,
Yeah. The call's been pretty.
Thanks,
good.
Matt and
It's right
Lauren.
there.
that's the one.
I'm in this little, like, Matt and Lauren, we text each other about, check, you see that cover that dropped this week? I do it too, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I've been sucked into
Well,
with
hey,
this
when the
stuff.
stories aren't there, the covers
Yeah.
have to be, man. It's just how that is. So, so that, and we also have plenty of issues of X-Men 25. If anybody wants to jump on, like Tom says right there, we've got them here, as well as these other books we've been talking about pretty much.
So this is a good time to jump on World's Finest too.
Yep.
It just did a restart on its story.
Yeah. On 20, issue 20,
Yes.
I believe. Yeah.
20?
Yeah, it's 20.
Sounds about right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, plenty of those.
I
Check
actually
them
didn't
out,
think that book would go as long as it has, but I'm glad it has.
I really thought it was like a 12 issue. So
I heard Daredevil was good.
I haven't read it.
Okay, I heard
Never
that was
been a
good.
Daredevil guy. I need to though. Need to get acclimated to it. I have been watching some videos. There's some things that just to educate myself on characters that I don't know much about, and I haven't read, and they're
Oh.
not ones that I just run. Oh, I want to check that
Right.
out. Like the history of like certain characters, Daredevil, and Marvel, different Marvel characters and stuff. Because that was it's DC. That was us growing up. So.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man and Hulk are the ones that I'm most familiar with. So after that, pretty thin. I've gotten better since this, but I've been behind, even behind Tommy. Tommy's known more about Marvel characters than I have, a lot of them. So
I don't know why. Honestly, I wasn't ever picking up Marvel books and reading them. I was always reading DC books. And really, when I did branch out, it was into some more, independent books.
yeah, that's where I'm living, baby, in the indie world.
Indie world.
Yeah.
Reading those horror books. I've not gotten to like really get into Halloween this year the way that I have in the past with
What?
movies or. I've
Not
tried
even
to
the
read the
movies?
books. Well, I
Oh.
watched Poltergeist today. I always have to
Okay.
do that every
Yeah.
year. That's probably my favorite one. But I've watched probably 3 or 4
Okay.
in the month of October. So, yeah,
Now Maggie, my
been
daughter
trying
Maggie,
some new stuff.
and her boyfriend Caleb were over last weekend, and we watched Aliens. And I love that movie. It's a great
yes.
sequel. They never seen it before, and they both liked it.
Oh, good.
And that holds up pretty good. I mean, because
Mhm.
that came out of maybe 86 or 85.
Yeah.
So you're talking about
Came out a
40
while
almost-
past the first one.
Yeah, because the first one came out, I think, 79, I think.
Something like that.
So, yeah, it was a couple years after that. So, and that was good. That was a good movie. Funny movie. Bill Paxton's pretty funny in it.
Oh, yeah.
He has some good lines in that.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Rest
Oh,
in
yeah.
peace.
He was a great actor.
He's
He
one
really blossomed in his later years as an actor.
My wife loves him in Twister. You ever seen
I was
Twister?
literally thinking about
yeah.
Twister
Yeah.
earlier today.
Yeah. We'll watch that anytime it's on TV.
That's a good.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I don't know why I like that movie, but they made a whole theme park about that movie.
They did?
Yes, at
What?
Universal in Florida, there was a
know
whole
that.
Twister ride.
Wow.
I think I remember that. I never rode it though.
Oh.
I did. I actually went to it. I actually just go in and it shakes a whole bunch and blows a lot of wind.
Does your
on it.
car
No, no,
go back
it's
and
like
forth? Or?
no. You're like it's like one of those things like you go in and like it's a ride.
Oh. Wow.
I think the bottom falls out at some point. I can't
Does
remember.
the cow come floating around like in the movie?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of wind and
Yeah.
movement, but there was it. I think they finally got rid of it, because the Harry Potter theme park sort of kind of took over Universal Hollywood, but it was there for a while. I remember because it's been a while since I went to Universal Hollywood, but there was at the time it was just the one side for Harry Potter, and then on the other side there was that Twister ride was there, and it was like a Simpsons ride and some other stuff. And there's a really cool Hulk roller coaster there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Simpsons ride used to be Back to the Future. I don't know if you ever went back when the Back to the Future days, but that was an awesome
I don't
ride.
know, no,
Yeah.
but yeah, they made a ride out of it.
Oh, that's
Which is-
cool. I didn't know that.
Really, which is weird to me because it was such a, I don't know, the '90s had a lot of
Yeah.
random movies like that.
Yeah.
I had a Bill Paxton movie that I watched, one of the horror movies, a few horror movies
Oh.
that I watched this month, Frailty. And
That
seen
is
that
a
one.
fantastic film.
yes.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's a
I don't
good
think
one.
I have.
Frailty.
Yeah.
You've never seen Frailty?
I
Oh,
don't
it's
think
got
so.
Matthew McConaughey,
Mm-hmm.
Aren't
Bill
they brothers?
Paxton, and then who's the other guy in it?
Powers Booth. He's the FBI agent.
FBI agent.
Yeah. And I don't know the little, bring it up there.
The
Frailty.
short premise of it is that Bill Paxton's this father that gets the he's sort of a religious fanatic, and he says, I'm getting these messages from God to go kill demons.
Oh.
And he would have a list.
Yeah.
And they would just be townsfolk, there in the
Yeah.
little town. that
Wow.
they
No
lived in.
kidding.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
So
no, I definitely haven't seen that.
I recommend it.
very much
So
so.
Paxton's the dad then, right?
Yeah, and then and then Matthew McConaughey's his son, but this is sort of in the future, and then that's kind of
Okay.
like in the past.
Yeah. They got
And there's a
young
whole lot more that
actors.
goes into it.
Okay.
A whole lot more that goes into it, but it's like, and there's a twist. So it's like,
Oh.
Yeah.
it's really
Oh wow.
it's really worth the watch if you can find
Okay.
time to watch it.
Yeah. I watched Signs.
I like Signs a lot.
Yeah. I watched Signs and Poltergeist and Eden Lake or something is another one that I watched that has Kelly O'Reilly from Yellowstone in it.
What is it?
It had
What's it
Michael
called?
Fassbender. It's like
Oh,
Eden's
really?
Lake.
Eden Lake, I think, or
Eden-
Eden's
oh.
Lake or something like that. But
Oh.
it was pretty solid movie.
This isn't really my. I was going to
Your
defer to
genre.
Joe. No, I mean Halloween's like I just watch whatever's on. If I had to watch anything, it's
Oh.
good.
Yeah, because it had Michael Fassbender. I was like, what? Because it was like back in maybe before he
08?
kinda really made it. Yeah. I recommend that one too. That's like free on all the platforms.
Okay.
On Freebie.
Free with ads.
Is it Freebie?
Yeah.
That'd be on Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. So
okay.
recommends. So
I used to
you
watch
get-
The Exorcist a lot, almost
Yeah.
every year. That's a creepy movie.
It is a creepy.
The first time I
movie.
ever saw it, I
original one.
laughed.
Have you seen?
Oh, you did?
have
I
you
was older.
seen-
I didn't watch it as a kid,
Oh.
but I watched it when I was in college, and I was this is so funny. I thought it was hilarious.
Watch the third one. That's the best one.
Isn't that what
Is that the hair?
Beetlejuice says? I've seen Exorcist 303 something times, and like it's like he said it keeps getting funnier every single time.
I don't think I've seen the third one. The second one's pretty bad.
George C. Scott. Yeah, the second one's bad. George
Yeah.
C. Scott is in the third one, and it's really, really good.
I haven't liked the old Omen movies. Remember watching
yeah,
those?
yeah.
The first one was good.
I need to revisit one.
I
of
think when I
those.
was a kid, those like demonic films
Yeah.
used to freak me out
Yeah.
more than like slasher movies.
Yeah, it's everything
it's a-
that you're being warned about every week at church. So yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean it
Yeah.
was pretty ingrained. It's like,
right. Yeah,
Warlock.
I mean they tell us like there are demons sitting right beside you right now, and we're like, what?
It's my mom.
Yeah. Just terrified. It's like, oh my God. So when you get home and you're just like, is there a demon over there? Yeah, it was
Yeah, our
freaked
church
me out.
upbringing was hellfire and brimstone.
Ooh, it sure
Oh,
was. Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit, the battle of the spirit world going on around us constantly, and the demons, and yeah, it was like, yeah, that stuff scared me. Yeah, so all of those movies scared me. That
Yeah,
was
so I
that
just
I
wouldn't
went
watch
through.
them.
I went through a period of time where that was scary to me because that was what was real.
And then as I
Yeah.
got older, what really
Yeah.
scared me were alien abduction films.
Oh,
I remember watching Dark Skies. I thought, oh. Then I found it was like a alien abduction movie. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
Did you
that
like
one?
Cloverfield?
I never watched it.
You got to see that.
Isn't that one of those shaky movies?
I think a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
I've never seen it.
What about Fire in the Sky?
Ooh, that's what got me the
Okay,
first time.
yeah.
I saw Fire in the Sky as a kid, and that's
Yeah.
kind of scared me. But I'll tell you this, though. I'd listen to...
That's the nuclear, isn't it?
No. Fire in the Sky is the Travis Walton story.
Okay.
They're out there. They work in the lumber business, right? Or
This is a
miners?
true story.
Yeah.
Based on a true story.
Okay.
And Travis Walton was on Joe Rogan, and he actually said that the movie made it to be a little more scary than it probably really happened in real life. What happened to him? He actually recounts. He's over 40 years or whatever. He said, "I've actually thought about this," and because in the movie, like he and his buddies are out working, and then they see this light in the sky, and they go to investigate it, and they're like, "No, let's go," but he gets hit with this light, and then they just leave him. And then they get down the road a little ways, and they're, no, we got to go back. And when they go back, they can't find him. And he's gone for like 5 days. When they do find him, like he's all like naked and like cold and like in some kind of
Like
bathroom.
shock.
And,
Yeah. Semi-shock.
And then eventually I think they put him under hypnosis and he sort of remembers what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've
But
never
his
seen
friends
this
were all
movie.
they were all gonna go down for murder. Like they they believed that they killed him and left him in the woods.
Yeah. They were like, I'm out. Yeah.
But so for as a kid, a long time I thought that whole thing just like messed with my head, like alien abductions and stuff like that. But then
How did I?
as I got older and realized kind of like that may not be what exactly happened, that sort of changed my opinion a little bit.
Yeah, it's a creepy movie.
Have you not seen it?
I'm just sitting there thinking, how have I missed this?
I forget who played
got
Travis
D.B.
Walton.
Sweeney in it.
Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah.
Huh?
D.B. Sweeney.
D.B. Sweeney.
He
Okay.
plays him. Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
D.B. Sweeney was big in the early 90s,
Mm-hmm.
late 80s.
So this movie was when? Like 80s movie?
This movie was
Yeah, I think late
Eight-
80s.
oh,
maybe.
93.
Oh, 93. Okay.
Robert Patrick's in it.
Dang.
All the heavy hitters from back in the day. Craig Schiffer, Peter Berg. Peter Berg's actually just put out a lot of good films.
James Garner.
Henry Thomas.
What?
You got Rockford there.
Oh, Rockford.
It's got a pretty all-star cast. It was a big movie at the time.
Yeah.
Huh. Totally missed it.
I remember, I don't know when I saw it, but I was like, ooh, I was a little freaked out from it.
Scary movies.
Well, I thought it would be really good, but, because I'm into sci-fi stuff.
So is that the one that scared you the most? The Exorcist? Was that the big
No.
freak out movie for
There was
you?
a movie that freaked me out when I was younger. Stephen King's Salem's Lot.
Oh,
But it was
yeah.
made for TV. It had David
It
Soul.
was. Uh-huh.
And he had a kid named, he was on a TV show called James at 16, Lance Kerwin.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's who it was. There are just a couple creepy scenes. Like there's this one scene where these two brothers are out in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
One of them gets bit by the vampire. He just dies. But the one boy is in the hospital room recovering from, shock or whatever. And he looks out his hospital window and his brother is just kind of floating.
It's a famous scene.
Yeah, floating.
Yeah.
And he's scratching at the window and his face is all gray and the eyes are all white and everything. He's saying, come on, let me in, let me in. And so the boy who's in the hospital room, he's just in this trance and he goes to the window and he opens up the window for his brother to come in, and his brother just kind of floats right in, and it pauses like about maybe 5-10 seconds. The boy's kind of floating right above his brother, and then just like that, he bites him in the neck.
Yeah.
And then the vampire's pretty cool. It's kind of a
like
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu,
Yeah,
yeah.
they kind of went that way.
Looks
James
like that.
Mason plays like an old kind of Renfield kind of character in that, but they're actually going to make it into a TV series at one point.
Have you seen Midnight Mass
No,
on Netflix?
no.
It's a series. It's like a mini series.
Mm-hmm.
It's episodic.
Oh, I'll have
It's
to watch that.
it's
Oh,
It's pretty solid.
that's a
There it
nice-
is. That's the one. Yeah,
it's
it
great
was
for a TV. I mean, it was made for TV, And then there he's trying to get the vampire's trying to get Lance Kerwin there. Look at that, man. It's just freaky.
I've got
You remember
this
seeing
on
that?
Blu-ray. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, isn't
I
it?
can't find it anywhere.
I don't think I've
though.
ever seen this movie.
Yeah. See, he looks like Nosferatu.
Yeah, the vampire was really cool.
Like, yeah, now.
So when I saw this movie, it was late night on a Saturday night late night. Everybody else had gone to bed.
Oh man.
And I was so scared that what I did when I went to bed, laid there on my bed, and I left the light on, and I took out like a school book, like a history book, laid it on my chest, and I thought, if my mom or dad come in the middle of the night, they're going to think, man, look at Tommy. He's studying on Saturday night. Because I left the light on because I don't want to be
You
embarrassed.
really thought that
That's
through.
hilarious.
Yeah, I really thought it through. So I don't think anyone came in and saw that I was studying.
Did you
though.
put like a cervical collar on, like just so you can
Yeah,
just feel good
hang
about
garlic
it?
around there,
yeah.
and some
Yeah.
burn some sage.
That's hilarious.
So that was a creepy movie, and then there was an old Abominable Snowman movie with Peter Cushing.
Really?
From the 1950s, I think, late 1950s.
That scared you?
Yeah, right at the end they show the Abominable Snowman, and I was probably about maybe 4 or 5 when I saw this.
Oh man, I bet.
And it was just kind of creepy in the shadows. They just showed him a little bit, like an outline of him and stuff. And Peter Cushing did a great job. Forrest Tucker was like the main kind of army macho guy that wanted to kill the Abominable Snowman. But I think it's just called Abominable Snowman. And the snowman, I think, killed a couple of the people on the expedition.
Yeah.
But right at the very end, I mean, they're in this cave, and Forrest Tucker had killed one of the Abominable Snowmen, like a little baby Abominable Snowman. And Peter Cushing was with him. And then Cushing you could tell the snowman could tell Cushing was kind of like on their side.
Yeah.
So the Abominable Snowman killed Forrest Tucker, and they started coming towards Peter Cushing. Then they all kind of stopped. And then they were like, okay, we respect what you were trying to do to help us. But they were kind of creepy looking. Yeah. But that was a good movie.
So
It's a
the
good black and
50s?
white movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think late 50s,
All
maybe
that
early
music.
60s. Yeah, it was good. It was good. And I have it on DVD if you guys
like
want
a-
to borrow it.
busted Atari game.
Yeah. So that was good. I think any other movies.
I was never big into scary movies.
Oh,
I mean, I watch some every once in a while. I never watch zombie movies.
slasher movies don't do it for me. I'd rather do
Yeah.
anything anything like
Supernatural.
stuff is creepy.
I don't. Supernatural doesn't bother me as much. I was never. I mean, I wasn't crazy about vampire movies, but I wouldn't not watch those, depending on what it was. Trying to think. I mean, mostly science fiction stuff, though.
Love sci-fi.
I mean, I love Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both.
We
Right.
watch that all the time here.
Love those. They're the best stories.
Yeah, they are the best stories. Like Mr. Serling.
And now,
He could
Mr. Serling.
Yeah.
That was only in the first season.
Did you guys ever do Outer Limits?
I did never watch Outer Limits.
Okay. That's a good show, too.
It's sort of like a spin-off, knockoff.
Yeah, it only lasted, I think, maybe 2
Every
seasons.
time they always
I
try to
think.
reboot Twilight Zone, I don't think it ever had the same love.
No.
I really think it's all about writing.
Yeah.
Good writing, I think.
Writing. Yes.
Yeah.
That they had one on Paramount. I watched 2 episodes of, and it was okay. But they rebooted it with Jordan Peele.
Oh,
as the
yeah.
host. Yeah.
Was it good?
It was okay. Yeah, it wasn't real bad or anything. They made it a little bit more like Black Mirror. Than
Oh, okay.
they kind of tried to.
Well, you've got to
work
be able
that.
to relate to your audience today.
Mhm.
If you start bringing up, I mean, there's concepts on original Twilight Zone. So most of them you can get, because they're all human concepts. But there's some things you're just kind of like, huh? What's a phone? Like, what's a dial? Like, I can talk to my grandmother through the dead. There's like a whole episode where the kid talks to
Yeah, Billy Mummy from Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
talks to his grandma.
Yeah.
So many people on that one.
Oh man, that's
So many
that what
guest
blows my mind.
stars.
You go in there, it's like this is like cameo after cameo after cameo.
Oh, yeah.
So many.
Yeah, James Best, William Shatner's in 2 episodes.
Both really
George
good
Takei's
episodes.
in an episode.
Yeah.
My contact is just
Um,
decided to.
Even Buster Keaton's in an episde.
Really?
He goes back
Oh,
in
yeah.
time. Yeah. He goes into the future, I think, actually.
Oh, is it the one where it's the Western one?
No, he's kind of like a repairman type of thing. And I think somebody he's working with makes just something you put over your head. I think that's what it was. And I think he goes into the future a couple years or something like that. Or maybe in the past. I forget what it was, but it was a good episode. The
Yeah.
one with Burgess Meredith, Time at Last is good.
Oh
Yeah.
End of the
Monsters
World.
Are Doing Maple Street.
That's actually
I love that
that's
episode.
that's
Is that where he was in the Burgess Meredith when he was in the bank safe?
that's the time enough at last.
Oh, okay.
But he was a
Yeah.
real jerk too. His character was, but
Oh, Burgess Meredith's character?
wasn't he?
I can't remember. I know right at the very end, though, he was the last survivor
Of a nuclear explosion.
and he was like, "Oh, I love to read." So he was in this library or someplace that had a lot of books, and he was like, "Oh, I cannot wait." And then he stands up and he steps on his glasses. He's like, "Oh," and that was
Yeah,
it.
That was it.
And then Monsters Are Doing Maple Street.
That's
if you watched that,
Yeah, that's
I love that one.
that's a great story about how like fear can get the better of you.
Oh yeah,
Mass fear can get the better of you. Like it was, because it was really.
Yeah.
They just assumed it was something. They never really even showed it. They was.
somebody's light went on the house.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, they're the
it's
aliens."
You're
yeah,
the aliens.
yeah, that was good.
It was a really good episode. Yeah, those are great shows.
Oh, they're
All great
awesome.
shows.
Yeah, they're really good.
And you highly recommend. What is it called? Midnight Special was that you watch on MeTV. What is it?
With Sven Gulli.
Oh,
Sven
Svengoolie.
Gulli? Yeah,
Yeah, every week he's a horror host. When I was
Yeah.
growing up, most cities had like a show on Friday night or Saturday where they would show like it might be like a Universal monster movie or Godzilla or maybe some crappy movie from the 60s or 70s. I was lucky I had somebody on Friday night, and then on Saturday another guy would show Three Stooges and then Superman and then two back-to-back, usually a Godzilla movie and then maybe like American International Pictures or something, like maybe a Roger Corman movie.
Wow.
So I was lucky with that. But this guy Svengoolie, he's on MeTV, which is a cable channel. He's been doing this for 40 years. He'll show a movie like in between the commercial breaks. He'll talk about the cast, what else they've been in, other movies they've been in, and then and they're good fun movies. I mean, he'll show Universal monster movies. Last night he showed a movie based on the Kojak Night Stalker show, which was really cool. And then another show last night was a Trilogy of Terror, which is a fantastic anthology movie. But he'll go through, and he has a lot of knowledge. I mean, he's been doing it for 40 years,
Right. Yeah.
and they're fun movies to watch. And
He
what
was
I
an
like,
internet nerd before there was an
yeah,
internet.
oh yeah,
Yeah. And and these MeTVs are also over the air like antenna. So those
Right.
always come through. Yeah. So
And what I like about it is, even though I've seen most of the movies that he'll show, it's new to my girls
yeah.
and Heather. I mean, they'll be like, "Wow, this is." They'll either say this is kind of great, or boy, this is terrible. This explains a lot about you if you like this movie. So, like
I
next
love it
week
that
is
your
Kingdom of the
daughter-
Spiders.
I had a commercial on MeTV last year.
I watched that when I was a kid. It would
You know?
scare me to death. Kingdom of the Spiders.
Yeah, that's next Saturday night actually
I had a commercial on there last year.
on MeTV.
Yeah.
What was it?
It was for the Gallatin Comic Con,
Oh,
promoting
cool.
the Leave It to Beaver reunion.
oh, yeah, that's cool.
Um,
Yeah, it's stuff from like the 70s and just very lighthearted movies, nothing over the top, because families watch this.
Yeah, that's cool
little
that you can get
kids.
your daughters to watch this these days. Yeah, I can't get my daughter to watch anything
And they're fun.
black and white.
And even like the little skits that he'll do. So yeah, it's a good show. It's fun to watch.
Yeah,
And I think William Shatner's in that Kingdom of Spiders, isn't he?
man, he was in a lot of things.
I can't
back
remember.
then. Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kingdom of the Spiders. I remember it came on TV
We can't
after
read that, man.
church.
what does that say? William Shatner? Oh, we got. Look at that picture.
There it is.
Yeah, William Shatner.
You
Yeah.
got it.
So yeah, it's a good fun movie.
A living, crawling. I remember watching a show when I was young called Ants.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Did you ever? Not the
Seen
one
that.
with like the big ants. This is it was like a construction site. And like these ants had like, I don't know, drank a lot of radioactive water or something. I don't remember why they got the way they were, but like, you got bit by one, it would like knock you off your feet. But if you got bit by like 6 or 10 or 100, you were dead.
Oh yeah.
I remember like going, oh my gosh, like all these people kept getting eaten by ants. I was like, this is so weird.
Now I remember another movie that scared me. We were talking about it. You guys remember Robert Conrad?
Yeah.
He was in Black Sheep, Black Sheep TV show and everything. And
Another name.
he was in a TV show. It was probably early 70s. It was kind of like a Twilight Zone kind of episode where he was a construction worker, I think. And he found this box buried in the ground. and he opened it up, and it was a carousel horse
Okay.
just in this box. So he decided to take it home, and I don't remember a lot about it, but I remember the horse coming to life. Not actually becoming a horse, but I mean, just this carousel horse would go through the house and just hoof people to death. And that it was an hour show. It was just kind of and it's on YouTube, so I'll have to watch it sometime just to
Moral of that story is
revisit
don't
it.
bring home a wooden horse.
Yeah, and I think that was the gist of it. And I haven't seen it since probably like maybe 73 or 74, so it's
to
been a
find
long
that
time.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Conrad was in it, I think. I'm pretty sure it was Robert
Every
Conrad.
once in a while, you guys will come up with something. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because you were talking about those post-rapture movies.
Oh yeah, they show in church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a whole series of those.
Yeah, they would show them there sometimes at school, but definitely at children's church and stuff like that about End of the Times. Thief in the Night was what the famous one was called.
I remember
it's
that.
made in the 60s.
Oh.
About the rapture and everything. And
Ooh.
anyway, I found a YouTube channel with all of them on there, so I just like saved it, and we were playing them in here one day.
We were trying to watch them. Like, what was so scary about this?
Yeah.
I remember seeing one, and it was like, I remember being in the fellowship hall. It was after church.
Was it one of the Dangers of Rock and Roll?
No, it was one of those Left Behind movies. It was like, not Left Behind, not that series. Not
Yeah.
at all. This is,
Oh.
it was one of these post-rapture films. It was like, but it was downstairs, and I remember being in the fellowship hall watching that.
Yeah.
And then we like went bowling.
Yeah.
After they scared us to death. Let's go bowling.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Heavy doses of fear. And
Yeah, it was
all
pretty
that.
much our whole church experience.
It was. Fear and guilt.
Fear and guilt. Fear and guilt. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, they try to take the joy out of everything. I tell you.
Now you
what.
can go get coffee before you go to church.
Yeah, I've eaten popcorn and donuts in church before, so I was like, all right.
But
Yeah,
be
it
honest,
was
man,
good.
we were those kids in church though that were.
We were.
Well,
not.
hey, I remember Joey telling me a story where you had like a little rubber bouncy ball.
Yeah,
Wasn't that thing?
Went in the
You threw-
baptismal,
yeah,
You threw it up there.
yeah,
which was
Yeah.
way behind the pulpit,
yeah.
It's funny.
way behind it.
Oh,
It was 1 in a million.
1 in a million shot.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, we
Luke
got
Skywalker
actually
there,
called out
Benson.
a number of times,
Oh,
but the preacher was sly about it. He would be like, he would blasé say, you know, you need to pay attention, blah.
Yeah,
And it was us, you know, and our parents had to be going, you know, because we were definitely on the back row doing all this stuff.
oh.
yeah.
The older we got, the more obnoxious we got.
We deserved everything we got.
I can only imagine if we had stayed through high school, which we didn't because, you know, we'd moved off, but
Yeah.
how bad it would have gotten. Because it's one of those things where we actually
Brian was.
Brian was.
He was the bad influence more so on me.
No, see, but here's the
But
thing,
we
though.
dare each other to do stuff. So
Correct.
Yeah.
But Brian was, this is my younger brother, but Toby would always know things for some reason that the rest of us didn't know.
Yeah.
And he would be like, you know, if you light that aerosol can, it'll become a blowtorch. And Brian's response always was, this is just an example, but Brian was
Yeah.
always, I don't believe you.
Mm.
So we had to test that theory.
Oh,
And Joey and I were kind of the two types of people that would either go along with Brian or we'd be like, we were just the fools on the side.
yeah.
You know, we're the fools that followed, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we were just standing over there going, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
You know, it would just be weird stuff
we
like
were
that.
always guilty by association.
Guilt by association.
Yeah.
And then, but it was always, we would fan the flame too, you know.
Right.
But, you know, we were, I mean, for the most part, we didn't go to jail or anything.
No.
We got picked up by cops once, but that was no big deal.
I don't think I've heard that story.
There was no jail.
There was no jail. We just got a little ride in the cop car. We weren't doing anything. We were playing flashlight tag.
Oh, that's not bad.
Well, we ran through somebody's yard that had just got robbed, and he
Oh.
called the cops because he kind of freaked out. And
Yeah, I could see where.
because he
that-
kind of stopped and goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And we were like, we said some explicitive and ran off. But we ran in different. There was like 20 of us.
Yeah.
And we ran in different
Wow.
directions, and like a couple of us got picked up, and you know, a couple of us didn't.
Oh,
I just remember coming around in the cop car because we got picked. Me and this, I think John Edwards got picked up on the main Bacchusburg Road. We were walking down. I think I'll just get in the car, and I said, I tried to say something funny, and the guy goes, "Just enjoy the ride." I was like, "All right." And I remember driving around back to where we had kind of home based everything at this one kid's house, and like, you know, there was my brothers like on the ground, like spread eagle, like because they had the spotlights on.
Had them
Then finally, when they figured out what
perked
was
out.
going on, you know, first of all, the guy that called the cops felt stupid, and then the cops were just laughing at us, and it was, at the very least, it was
Yeah.
a funny story. But then we all had to go home, you know, because we couldn't continue. But
It was like your scared straight
Yeah.
moment of life, right?
yeah, it was just
Maybe.
one of those times when you were, you know,
Yeah.
it was funny. When you're in the 6th grade, that's pretty.
And and then the next day when you didn't get in trouble, there was a story.
Well, I
to
never
tell.
told my mom about it.
Yeah.
She never found out?
No.
No.
No, I think I
But-
told her later, and she goes,
Later.
her response was, "Y'all never respected me." I was like, "It's not what went down."
What did your mom and dad say? You remember?
Didn't tell my mom and dad.
It was one thing we didn't do.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were pretty good about that.
So so the police just said, okay.
Kind of like
you guys go home.
what happened
Kind
with
of-
the boys stayed with the boys.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We knew if we got caught, it would be bad.
Yeah.
You know, so we pretty much kept all our secrets. But we never like robbed people or, you know, anything crazy like that.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything that bad or burned down a building or weren't the outsiders,
Outsiders.
you know. But
Oh, those were the days.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got off on that.
Yeah,
ADD
it
moment.
always happens. Yep. Always happens. Well, what else, guys? We got anything
I
we
mean,
haven't covered yet?
I don't know, Tom. What are you looking forward to this week? We actually had a few things I was going to talk about, but I don't know if we're going to get into them, and it's fine. We don't necessarily have to. Matt has been
Go for it.
I don't know. He's quiet as I'll get out.
Well,
No,
I
I
am
was-
looking forward to that. Well, it doesn't come out this week, but I need to place the order for that unpublished Batman story about
We talked about that last week. That's
Yeah.
actually going to be really cool.
Yeah.
The unpublished. And they're calling it a faux simile
oh,
because it's not really a facsimile,
yeah.
but it's just the alternate version of 428, Batman 428, where Jason Todd lives.
I got to place an order for that.
Whoa. I don't know why this has been buzzing like that lately. We'll probably order a bunch of those.
Okay.
We'll probably have a lot of those. So
Okay.
at least that's my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to talk about this whole South Park episode that came out that I've been wanting to see.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard about it?
Not
No.
Snow White.
Not at all.
No, it's bring up the visual there, Matt. It's South Park calls out Kathleen Kennedy. It's not that top one.
Oh,
The most paused moments on the internet. No,
Oh, yeah.
it's Cartman. It's Cartman. It's all about Cartman has this nightmare about how he's replaced by a diverse group of women. He and his boys.
Gosh.
He and the South Park boys.
oh,
So it's basically a call out to Kathleen Kennedy. It's kind of like sort of been the talk on the internet lately. And Gina
Really?
Carano finally put a statement out. Here's her
Cara
tweet.
Dune.
She said, "This is the part where, bring it up on Twitter. This is the part where KK Kathleen Kennedy demands any YouTubers get censored off of YouTube for sharing and laughing at this hilarious episode. She'll have YouTube disable the thumbs down option because of the ratio she'll receive. Then she'll have her publicist ghouls make sure Variety and Hollywood Reporter run hit pieces about the South Park creators and their families, smearing their names through every useful idiot she has under her thumb who would sell their soul to work for Lucasfilm. She'll activate the online mod to repeat the South Park creators are racist, bigots, transphobes, and demand the South Park creators publicly apologize, but only using words she approves of. And finally, she demands they subject themselves to re-education courses of 45 people in the LGBTQ community. Zoom call to sit there and listen how badly they got their feelings hurt all over a little boop of a South Park episode. But maybe, just maybe, the jig is up.
Oh, Kathleen. Oof.
You know, Matt's watched the episode. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it, but Matt had an opinion about it, and I'm sure he's dying to talk about it.
We'd love to hear it.
What were you saying earlier about this, Matt?
I think this is they're definitely taking shots, and you know, they definitely score some hits. However, I don't think they sink the ship.
They could have gone more full.
I think that they kind of let off the gas a little bit on this episode. I think they set it up, and they definitely took their shots. I don't even think that's the A story. I don't even think it's the A story of the episode. There's another storyline happening. I think it's actually more relevant, I think they do a better job of it. I think, what did I say? I think they didn't go hard in the paint on this one. I think they backed off, and I think it could have been a better episode.
I want to see it though.
We just want to see somebody
And
or something.
the AB
take her
the AB
down.
BA storyline is where people don't know how to fix things. Is that right?
Yeah, it's this thing where they're looking at all these professional college graduates, your psychologists and your bankers and your lawyers, and all they would do is pick up the phone when they need something fixed. They need the plumbing done. They need, electricity wired or whatever. They can't do this sort of stuff. So when it goes out, they're basically dead as a society because they have skills that don't have any real relevance to society. So that's kind of the parallel story that's going on with the Kathleen Kennedy thing. I don't know, I think that story says something a little bit more relevant than the whole.
Are you a
Star
South
Wars
Park
stuff.
watcher?
Never seen an episode.
Not one.
Not one.
South Park kind of does what a Twilight Zone kind of calls out this, or like any good
Right.
science fiction will say, hey, this is a reality that we probably need to put in check. But like South Park has always been that show that really kind of calls out just about
Right.
everything, and they normally don't pull any punches. Normally they kind of go hard.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how this went. What was the episode, Matt, you said that actually did do that?
Oh, that's the Indiana Jones right
Oh,
after
the Indiana
Crystal Skull.
Oh, really? They did one of those.
They did
Oh,
a show, and
okay.
it is.
That deserved one, actually.
My brother
Yeah. They
Brian
did go hard
loved
Yeah.
on that
South
episode.
Park because it was the satire was so honest,
Yeah.
So he enjoyed that show, and I think it's why he liked Chappelle Show, King of the Hill, things like that. Really kind of just digging into those whatever was going on at the time shows. But yeah, I'm curious to see how this turned out. I mean, Gina Carano hadn't said much lately, but I guess she was like
Ooh,
at
chomping
home
at the
giggling
bit.
on this
Oh,
one.
When
man.
did this air? Was it this past
over
week?
the weekend.
Oh, over the weekend. Okay.
I saw it pop up on Paramount, and I just haven't. I wanted to watch it because, of course, we all we have not been shy about how we feel about where the state of Star Wars has been,
Right.
and everybody wants to blame Kathleen Kennedy, and of course, we have had discussions about where it may not be her, maybe the Dave Filoni or whoever. We don't know what's going on, but I don't think it's any secret. And Matt and I've talked about this just from the industry side of things. It seems like there's some course correcting going on, and we said this from day one. It's like when the numbers catch up,
Right.
it'll all change. All right, it's fine now, and I think that's true. Even with the state of our current politics, I mean, it seems like everybody's just kind of running amok. I feel like that's kind of where the entertainment industry's been, but they've had some pretty hard hits. I mean, COVID. Now they've got this strike going on still,
Right.
and it's like, hey man, they got to come to some realizations, or like, and I don't think AI is the answer. And I could be wrong. I don't know how that's going to play out, but it's like I was talking to my buddy yesterday about just the Marvel universe, and we really feel like the MCU died. It didn't die. It ended with Endgame. And that for me is because with any story franchise that you love, whether it's a comic book storyline or a movie or a TV show, there's always a character that you kind of fall in love with. And a lot of times it's the actors who bring that character to life.
Right.
And whether that's Star Trek and William Shatner or, Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr., whatever the case may be, there's people that bring stuff to the table. And when they're kind of out of the picture, you kind of tend to go, well, not really. Something about it just sort of, I'm not just as invested,
Right.
It's why some spinoffs never work. Everybody loved Friends,
Yeah.
but nobody really cared much for the Joey Show.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Because it just didn't work.
Right.
There's something magical about having the right components, the right characters, the right actors,
Chemistry and, yeah.
the right writers. It's not just a one-man band. There's a chemistry that exists, and that, is sometimes is magical, and sometimes it's just a miss. And here lately, there's been a lot of miss.
Well, that Snow White movie that they were going to make,
That's another conversation out there.
that got
I don't know what's
delayed.
going on with that. It sounds like
Yeah.
it's gotten kicked down the road.
it did.
I don't know if it's one of those things where they're trying to like kick it so far down the road that people just forget about it.
Yeah.
You know, because they got so much backlash. But, you know, the Daily Wire went out and made their own. They made their own Snow White movie.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. They had just released a new, I guess it's their family-friendly.
Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire made their own?
Yes. So Daily Wire just launched their new streaming platform called Bent Key. It's supposed to be like a family-friendly, and one of the movies that they're making on there is where Brett Cooper from the Daily Wire stars as Snow White.
I don't even know who Brett Cooper is.
It's Ben Shapiro's sister.
Oh. Is she an actress?
Well, she's a YouTube star.
Oh. Oh boy.
I don't know how good she's going to be as an actress. You know, I really don't know. I know all she does is get online and kind of like, her show's called The Comment Section, and she gets on and she like looks at something people have tweeted, and then she, you know, then just comments on it. But it's mostly conservatively. So
right
now they've created this whole movie. I don't know how this is going to be either. I mean, it's kind of like pick a lane, guys. It's like,
oh my god,
just let this sleep. And I think they kind of started it just as a snub to Disney. You know, and then they've got like a trailer about it, but it really isn't.
Who's going to play Snow White? My sister will do it. Okay.
I mean, when you got the money, bro. I mean, you could be Iron Man.
Brett
you know,
Cooper.
Tom can be the Hulk, and
Okay. There you go. Yeah, Tom's a good Hulk.
all I'm saying, I'm just saying, is like this is kind of like where, you know, and I was talking about this earlier too. Is like some of these conservative platforms have really just launched their own, you know, Angel Studios is kind of killing it right now. And I think when people like Disney looked at, they're losing numbers to these people. They've got to make some adjustments, you know, because the majority of the country doesn't think the way that LA thinks, so, or the way LA thinks they think. So we see that from our business side. You know, we see it when we're losing revenue because I'm not buying that book. I'm not reading that book. It's kind of like that Alan Scott book that came out this week. We're all like,
yeah, the ecosystems is it's not the content's not driving the comic sales, that's for sure, and vice versa. So
and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I watched a show on Netflix just last week. It's called Bodies. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. But it has some, you know, there's some homosexual couples in there, content in there. But it didn't like affect the story to me. You know, it wasn't like in your face about it. Just was just part of the situation.
It's well written.
It was real.
Yeah,
I think it kind of
good.
I think it kind of got a little predictable at the end, but at the same time, it was like okay. I enjoyed it. It's like a 6-episode series. Binge watched it one day.
You're gonna do it justice? Go, put it in there. If you're not, you know, it's just.
Well, one of my favorite.
You're trying to score points for yourself.
Monologues in a movie is from V for Vendetta.
Oh.
And it's all about how the regime at the time was persecuting homosexuals. So, but it was one of the best monologues. It's all about not giving. The one thing we can't give up is our integrity.
I've never seen that movie.
It's not. It's based off a comic series.
Yeah.
But it's not. Which is Alan Moore, right, Matt? That's right, Alan Moore. I don't think it follows the books. No. You know, I think it takes the gist of it. It was the Wachowskis, the same ones that did Matrix. It's got Hugo Weaving in it, Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
A lot of British actors you'd recognize.
He was in a lot of movies in the 90s.
He was
2000s.
Matrix put him on the map.
Yeah.
He was Elrond.
Yeah, that's right.
You know.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, you know, that's a movie. That's the, you know, I always talk Lord of the Rings, but that is a series that, from start to finish, everybody involved put everything they could into it. And that's why it was so good. That's why Return of the King got 13 Oscars.
Yeah.
You know, it was a fantastic. Of course, the source material is fantastic, so it's like it had a lot to pull from. But, you know, by the time The Hobbit came out, the people didn't care. Of course, it was just kind of one of those things where the studio forced it on Peter Jackson to fix, and it just didn't resonate the same.
Either one of you guys watched The Dark Crystal, the thing they did over at Disney last summer? Was it The Dark Crystal or the
Dark Crystal, not that Muppet movie?
Yeah. Didn't they do a sequel of that? That was supposed to be pretty bad.
I don't remember.
I think it was streaming or something like that.
Must have been like one of those things. Disney's pulled a lot of their content, right?
Right. Yeah.
But Dark Cuckoo,
Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't.
Dark Crystal.
Dark Harvest.
From the
maybe not.
82 film. Ah, look at that.
Had Mark Hamill in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Netflix.
Oh, I didn't even know that thing existed. It didn't work out.
I don't think it worked out. I don't remember even seeing it, but
Well, listen, it's kind of hard to pull something out of oblivion, because one, today audience just aren't watching. They're not interested in storytelling this way. That's number one. So you got to really kind of resonate. Same time, it's hard to do when things are written for a certain audience a certain way.
right.
They're talking about doing a Highlander reboot.
Oh gosh.
And part of me is like, oh, awesome. And there's part of me is like, yikes. It's like, does this really need a reboot? However, it's a great story. It's a great universe to be in. And Henry Cavill's going to be in it. I'm a fan.
I like him. I
I like
a lot.
him. I think what he does is he's a fan of things,
Mm-hmm.
so he treats it that way.
Right.
But that's also at the mercy of whoever's directing and writing and producing these things. So, it could be like what Ben Affleck did. He said, I don't want to be a part of it, and just left.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of one of the things I was bringing up was what's going on with that whole South Park episode.
I haven't heard of that.
And that's the great thing about the comic shop, guys. We can sit around and talk about this nerd stuff all day long.
We think, yeah. I mean, like with Kathleen Kennedy, though, I thank her for
I think
her
she's
contributions of the 80s and 90s, but
take a hike.
sayonara. Yeah.
Sayonara.
She even worked on Back to the Future, right?
You
involved
can
in
go
that,
back
so
and
she-
see her on film. I think she was on the first Indiana
Spielberg.
Jones film.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
She's been around since Spielberg has.
Right. Yeah.
Pull up her IMDb.
I was looking for because watching Poltergeist today, cause I was Spielberg and Toby Hooper were on that, and I thought, man, I wonder if she's on this, but I didn't see her name.
She don't even come up. Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
It's gonna be nuts. E.T.
E.T.
Signs.
Wow.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing her name on Signs. Yeah.
I click that see all.
Yeah, you just get into the
She was on Signs.
Well, Sixth
Yep.
Sense as well.
Back to the Future 2.
Joe versus the volcano.
Oh wow.
She was on
Cinematic
Poltergeist.
classic. Yes. Oh, she was? I
Yeah.
didn't see her name.
She's an
Of course she was.
associate.
Okay.
And Goonies. I mean, some really good
I mean,
movies on there.
some early stuff that she was in. She was an assistant to Mr. Milius, which is one of Matt's favorite directors.
Associate to Mr. Spielberg on Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, Amazing Stories. That was kind of a neat
I do remember
show.
watching
I
Amazing
do
Stories. That
remember
was on
that
NBC.
too.
There were some of those that were pretty good.
Yeah. I'll be dang. I didn't see her today.
Goonies, Back to the Future, Young Sherlock Holmes, The Color Purple, The
Money
Money Pit,
That was great fun.
Inner Space,
That was fun.
Batteries
Empire
not
of the
included.
Sun. I remember watching Empire of the Sun. I remember I was sick because I'd been throwing up for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that movie, which has a young Christian Bale in it, by the way.
Oh.
He's the young boy in it, the star of the film.
Huh.
And I remember Wendy's had just opened in Mayfield, and the first thing I ate was a Wendy's burger after being sick. That's the one thing I remember about that movie. I actually went back and watched it not too long ago.
Is it about like Japan?
So it's about so Britain used to occupy China,
Okay.
and then during World War II, when Japan invaded,
yeah.
some people got captured.
Okay.
And he was one of the
He was
British.
one of them. Okay.
He got separated from his parents, and he ended up in a prison camp, and that's what it's about. How he survives that prison camp.
So when you guys first heard that Disney had bought Marvel, what did you guys think about it when you first heard it? Did you think it was good news or?
I didn't hate it
Okay.
because I was excited they were rebooting Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
early on,
that's-
it was kind of like we were tricked. Like I was like, this is going to be awesome
Mhm.
because The Force Awakens was just good enough for us to go, yeah, Star Wars is back.
Yeah.
And then Rogue One came out almost immediately after that, within a year. And that was much better. We were like, this is really awesome. And I remember going and seeing episode 8, which is Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I remember I met you after that. Literally, we were like, both came out like.
What was that?
Because I remember you asked me, it was at Green Hills, and you asked
Well,
me.
I had already seen it the night before.
Oh, okay.
And I met you and your buddy.
You're like, what do you feel? How do you feel about that? And I was like, I don't know. I'm going to have to process it. And that's not how you should feel when you come out of a movie. Yeah.
Especially if you're a fan.
There was
of it.
nothing like
Right.
it. Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't. I was excited, but now I'm just kind of like, I feel like they've ruined everything.
Yeah. I was excited too. I thought, man, they're going to bring it back, and they've got all the money in the world behind it, and it's the Disney magic, And
right.
Yeah, the Disney magic died a long time ago.
So do you think they'll be eventually doing reboots? I mean, just
Of what?
of Star Wars. Maybe even.
You know what I think they really ought to do? Is just let this thing die. Let it go away. Stop putting stuff out. Because one of these actors, I don't know if it was, I think it was Liam Neeson or what's his name? Freddie Prinze Jr., who voices Kanan, said, this has lost all the magic of Star Wars. You know, and it's like, just let it go. I think same thing with Marvel. Just let it go. Let it go. Try to find maverick storytellers that can tell new stories that are interesting.
And let people miss it.
Yeah, people need to miss it. And they need to
Right.
go, oh, you
Yeah.
know, this is
Get them hungry for it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let the comic shop be the only place they can get this stuff for a while.
you know, yeah, for sure, for sure. Because that does drive our sales down if the stuff isn't good, or because so many people that are spec, but I watched this and this was so cool. I mean, if you think about it, like think about the '90s, like what Marvel movies were out in the '90s. There was Blade.
Yeah, Blade.
I remember how exciting it was when Spider-Man came out. That was pretty cool. X-Men, Fantastic Four.
Back in the 70s, I
I'm trying to
had
think, the early 2000s kind of, they were hitting with it.
Captain America movie. You guys ever watch that Captain America movie from
I've
the 70s?
never seen that.
Red
No.
Brown
I know
played
you're
Captain
talking-
America.
He makes a cameo in.
He does?
He's in
There's one in
the
the
first
90s.
Avengers, the first Captain America movie.
Really?
Pull up.
There's one in the 90s too, wasn't there?
What's his name?
Captain
What's his
America?
name? What's his name?
Oh. Red Brown.
Red Brown.
R-E-B and then Brown. I don't know. He was in that first Avengers.
No, Google this. You may have to Google it, Matt. Red Brown, Captain America, the cameo.
Yeah, R-E-B. B as in boy.
He's the guy. I'm pretty sure that Stan Lee's talking to.
Really? That'd be pretty
In
cool.
this-
I didn't know that. I never
He's
caught that.
he's one of the. He's got a cameo.
Yeah, that's
Red Brown.
Yeah, look at
Is
that
this
Captain.
him right here?
That's,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's
The
the
shield was clear.
clear, and he could throw it like a frisbee.
He had a motorcycle.
I've
and-
seen images of this. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny. There's actually an Avengers they have.
Is that Rick Moranis? Look at him.
Yeah.
Well, he was in a series of crappy movies. Space Mutiny.
Look on the very bottom there. It says Tex Cobb. See,
Oh, Tex Cobb.
remember Tex Cobb?
We don't want to go to IMDb. I'm pretty sure he had a cameo.
Click on this right here. Can you see me?
The
Like
Captain
that
America.
little thumbnail right here? On left. Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
That
Red
top
Brown,
one.
Captain America, first Avenger. Cameo. Is there an image? Yeah, there it is. Down at the bottom.
Yeah, look at that. The shield fit on the front of his motorcycle there. I mean, that was good stuff when I was a
This
kid.
one right there.
Yeah, look at that.
See, that's him right there. Talking to Stan Lee. He goes, I thought he'd be taller.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. I never caught that.
I didn't either. I saw it on the internet.
Man, this is wild.
You never seen that? You've never seen, look at this makeup.
Now, I have that on DVD if you guys want to borrow it. It's a fun
I
watch.
might have to.
It's
yeah.
a fun watch. Yeah. That's great, though. I didn't know that he was in that movie.
Yeah, a lot of those guys get their cameos. If they're alive.
Well, Lou Ferrigno was in that first Hulk movie, right?
Was he?
As a security guard.
Oh, that's correct.
I think when was he talking to
Forgot
Stan
about
Lee?
that.
I don't
that part
remember.
or something
I
like
just
that? It was a
remember
security
that
guard
movie.
thing.
I remember that movie being as kind of a letdown.
Well, they showed that trailer in the Super Bowl. Remember how bad the trailer was? They had to go back in and
Well, that's what happens when you get a artistic Chinese director to put the show.
See if is there a Captain America movie from the 90s?
You know what Ang Lee's like? Wasn't Ang Lee's biggest film before that, Matt? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
I think it was.
I think it was.
Yeah.
What are you asking?
If there was one in the 90s, a Captain America movie in the 90s, because I feel like there was.
Oh, wait. It says Captain.
1990.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, I saw it right there. Matt Salinger.
Ed Beatty was in it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, 1990. Wow. Yep.
That thing. There's no way that thing made it to theaters. That thing went straight to
Well, look at the
VHS.
cast, though. It's a good cast. Billy Mumy from Lost in Space.
It's got Ronnie Cox in it.
Darren McGavin. Melinda Dillon.
Who is Matt Salinger? What else was he in?
Man, nothing.
Matt Salinger. He was in Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Who was he in Revenge of the Burke? I don't remember. He was the coach.
Oh, he was the coach?
Was he the coach? No, John Goodman was the coach.
Yeah, John Goodman was the coach.
He must have been just one of the jocks.
Is that him there in that top picture right next to...
Here?
No, on the left there with the wig on. He has a wig.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's him.
there.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah.
That's funny.
Nerd.
No, I've
Did you
never
watch
seen
The
that one.
Ice Road with your father-in-law?
We did see that.
I
Yeah.
tried watching that.
That was a quirky kind of movie. They tried to do kind of like a Fargo with it.
Was
Kinda
that what
quirky.
it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
quirky. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to get into it, but I
we
just
watched it
wasn't.
last weekend, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, back to. I think they just need to let it all die. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Kill something else for a while.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
Man,
man.
that's sad.
bring Harry Potter back and kill it.
Mm.
Of course, that's a Warner Brother franchise. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah,
They've
there's
done
a lot of things worth killing. They should.
Well, one of my favorite franchises is coming up, Planet of the Apes. I mean, they're rebooting Planet of the Apes, or they're continuing it. So I hope
I
hope they
really
don't ruin
enjoyed
that.
those.
Yeah, I
circus
liked them.
films. They
I
were
liked
good.
them a lot. So I hope they don't put the Kennedy
There's a new
term on it.
there's a new comic coming out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes. It's actually about Nova.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
It's on one of the solicitations.
Okay.
So it might actually be FOC for tonight.
Mm.
Aw.
I know it's coming up, but something
Okay.
you want to definitely check
Yeah.
out. It's
Yeah.
I can't remember, it's like Beyond the Planet of the Apes.
Okay. Good.
It sort of takes Lucius goes
Oh.
missing,
Yeah.
so Zira and Cornelius enlist Nova to go hunting
So
down.
it's old school Planet of the Apes.
Old school Planet of the Apes.
Good. Okay. Good. Yeah.
So it's a continuation of that one.
Good.
Yeah, but it's a comic series coming out.
And I like the recent movies they've done. I think those have been pretty good. But
Yeah.
I like the old school stuff.
I watched those one time. I think it was in college, and I had it on like a marathon, and I just watched it.
Oh, that's
First time I ever like watched them all. I mean, I'd seen the first one, but like it's the first time I watched all of them
Yeah.
back to back to back to back.
Yeah, the later ones kind of.
Yeah, then the
there's-
show.
Yeah, the TV show. Oh, yeah.
You know, Trent is a big. You know Trent Bailey,
Yeah.
huge Planet of the Apes fan.
Well, I didn't know that.
If you ever get a chance to see his Planet of the Apes action figure collection,
Yeah. See,
toy collection, it's impressive.
I have the Migos from the mid-70s.
He has them all.
Yeah.
If they're not carded, he's got they're all
Oh, good
carded.
for
He's
him.
got loose ones. He's got prototypes. He's got
Wow.
more memorabilia than you probably can remember,
That's awesome.
which is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a really impressive toy collection. Was kind of envious of it. I thought
His house is a museum when people come to see him.
On that note, I think it's about time we call this a night, guys.
Well, thanks, Tom, for coming and joining us.
Hey, this has been
buddy.
great.
We've
I
been,
have
it's a
loved
long
this.
time coming.
Well, thank you. This has been just a wonderful night, and hats off to you guys for opening up the store. And you guys really pulled together a good community. And I wish I had time to tell that Christmas story from almost 2 years ago.
You can tell it.
I can
We'll
tell
let
that.
you, yeah, you can tell that story.
I love this story. Okay, so Tommy and I are setting up when you guys had the booth up there by the front window.
Yeah.
We're just shooting the breeze, and this woman walked in. She looked flustered as soon as she walked in the door. I mean, just flustered. She was looking for, you're going to have to help me out. I know it was a Funko.
It was a Charizard Funko.
Yeah, which were scarce at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, hey, do you have this? And Tommy said, no, we sold out of them. But then he goes, and I think as soon as she said that, just all the air came out of her. She said, my son, he's special needs. This is his favorite character. And
looked
he
everywhere.
really wanted this for Christmas. And this is the only thing that was, just the last thing on the list. I was hoping you guys would have it. And she just, like, all the air went out of her. And then Tommy said, we sold out of them. But then he said, I think I may have one. Let me check. He even told her to go to Hobby Lobby or something like that to look for it.
No. That's
Another one.
That's the end of that conversation.
Yeah. So he gets up and he goes to the back room and he pulls the one that he had saved for his nephew. Comes out, and you would have thought, I kid you not, that Tommy said, "Hey, you know what? I have this lottery ticket that's worth $1 million. I don't need it. How about you want it?" And she just was thankful. She was so happy. She couldn't believe it that you did that, because I think you even mentioned to her that it was going to be for your nephew. And she just, it all goes back to that community aspect. I mean, you're pleasing the people, and I don't even know if she's ever been back in here again, or maybe I don't know. But that was just a really neat moment, because you just made her day.
Yeah.
Absolutely made her day. And I don't even know what they were selling for online. They were probably a lot of money online.
I don't know either. I think
But it was pretty close to Christmas, though. I mean, I don't even think she
really
would have.
close.
Yeah, I don't even think she would have had time to order one.
Mm.
But she just, it was just a neat moment. And she left the store, and I can guarantee that she told people about that story. And I'm sure you guys got customers from that story. I'm positive
We hope
that
so.
would have happened.
It's not because we're on a Google review or anything, but
but it was just a neat moment.
it was a cool moment. I remember you coined the phrase at that moment.
Oh, the community?
No,
Oh.
we sell happy.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah. Yeah, she was.
He's like, man, you guys really do sell happy here.
Yeah, and that was just a real understatement, happy, because
Yeah.
she was just, and you would have done the same thing, Joey. If,
Well, it's
if
the
you were
best
here.
feeling in the world.
It's one of those
to
moments
do
where
that.
I remember sitting there and she was like, I didn't know who this lady was. I was like, I'd never seen her before.
Right.
She was like, do you have these things? I was like, no, we don't have this. We sold out of them. Sorry, we sold out of them. You know, it was that real static answer, and she was like, all right. She just went,
Right.
and she made that whole, and then I was like, all right.
So your nephew Eli, you're like, hope you like Snorlax.
Actually, it was for Dawson.
Oh,
He was
okay.
in Kentucky.
Still.
So I went back and I said, man, he don't need this to pop. And so I just went back and got it. Of course, I was like, let me go check. I might have one back
Yeah.
there. Of course, I knew where one was the whole time. But
Yeah.
the interesting story was, and this is where Hobby Lobby comes in. The next day, I went to Hobby
That's right.
Lobby, and I was digging through their Funko Pops, and in the very back was a Charizard pop.
Yeah.
So my nephew still got one,
So
and that lady got
right.
one too. So
Nice.
it was one of those things where it's
Everything
like,
lined up.
well, I think it was a lesson learned too here. Is like, because you and I have kind of gotten this habit. It's like we'd rather sell it to somebody that's going to be happy with it than try to keep it for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know, even if we don't make a lot of money on it. I think that's kind of where we've always been with the store, is that it's not about so much turning a dollar as it is to, have a place for kids to go, man, remember when we were kids, we used to go in there and do the
Right.
Pokemon swap. And,
Yeah.
it's just, that's really kind of where our heads were at,
And, we have a lot of great collectors in Spring Hill, Franklin area, Columbia.
Yeah.
A lot of great collectors with great collections. And you guys the store has brought everyone together. Place
Yeah.
to hang out.
You've made a lot of friends. We made a lot of friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, that's been the really, really fulfilling part of all of this is the community, for sure.
And speaking of which, if you happen to be in the Spring Hill area at any time, stop by and see us at Cadets Toys and Comics, or
Follow us on social media or at cadetstoys.com. That's open 24/7. And if you don't have a comic shop in your area, jump on there so you can set up to be a subscriber. And
click the
we'll mail
link
it to
called
you.
Manage Comics.
Yeah, Manage Comics. And so
We'll ship them to you.
we're on social media at Cadets Toys on Instagram and Facebook, Cadets Toys and Comics.
Can I tell one more story?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love the fact that you guys are always looking out for us. Books. There has not been a single time where you guys have gone to a convention, you haven't texted me and said you want this book. Or one time I was mowing in my yard, and Tommy calls me up and said, hey, somebody brought in a whole bunch of Bronze Age stuff you need to get in here, and I don't even remember if I turned off my tractor. I jumped off the tractor, and I
came in
I
all
came up
sweaty.
here.
I was
Yeah,
like, "What have you been doing?" He's like, "I was mowing the yard." He goes, "There's only two things to get me off that mower."
yeah.
One of them's comic books.
Yeah, so I've always appreciated the fact that you guys are going through long boxes at a show, and you guys have texted me and said, "Hey, you have this Crypt of Shadows number 13 or whatever." I mean, a book that it's not gonna.
Well, we know what you're into.
So I've always appreciated that. I know.
I helped Matt finish his Miss Marvel run.
Yeah.
If
so
you're good to us, we're good to you. That's how
I
that
think
goes.
that's great that you guys do that because you could be looking for your own personal stuff.
There was a time I would go to shows or other comic book shops, and I would not buy a thing. I was like looking for stuff. Like I remember I was in Paducah, and I was like, "Matt, do you have these 2 Miss Marvel books?" And he goes, "What's the condition?" And I was like, "I don't know. There's some pictures." We would kind of decide and help him pick that out. And same thing with like your New God.
New
did,
Gods.
we
You
did
guys
the New
bought me New
Gods run.
Gods
What was
number
the other
1.
thing? There was another. I think it was not Brand H. Did you finish that run?
I finished that, but you guys.
That Matt actually helped me with that one.
Oh, really?
We were down in Georgia.
Yeah.
Remember this, Matt? We were down there. We went to that comic shop, and we were like trying to get a deal. And the guy goes, "Well, I really don't want to give you a discount on any of it." We're like, "Fine, keep the books." And then we went to another comic shop and found it for cheaper.
Found them there. Yeah.
Nice.
So I've always appreciated that about you guys, and I know everyone else does
Yeah,
because you guys have helped me fill some gaps in my collection, and so I think that's great.
Well,
Yep.
I mean, I think if you can't do this with community, like, what's the point?
Right.
I think that's the thing about it. It was always trying to and it's been a problem with like not having as much space as we would like, but because I mean, again, when the kids are in here on Saturday mornings, and you want to come in and browse back issues, it's a little snug.
Yeah.
That's the only Achilles heel we kind of have, but for the most part, people can kind of come in here and find what they're looking for. If not, we always try to hunt it down. I mean, there's times I've seen Joey crawling up under the table looking for a comic book.
Yeah.
Or he's like, "Tommy, get that one up there. It's up on the top shelf," whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's the whole point of like, well, like when you're a collector, like you want to go out and you want to hunt those books, and it's the hunt,
Right.
It's like finding those places where, you're going to find what you're looking for. And that's what we were really kind of putting together here. We talked about that from day one. It's like we don't,
Right.
obviously want to not go broke doing this, but it was never really the sort of the driving factor of opening. That's why we opened it during COVID. We're like, if we're going to do this now, let's do it now.
And it's crazy you guys did that during. I mean, I just think that's amazing. It took a lot of courage. A lot of courage.
I think again it was a little more foolishness than courage, but we didn't know what we were doing. We just knew we were at a place, and I think everybody sort of reevaluated themselves during COVID.
Yeah, true.
In one way or another, you're like, what is it I really want out of life? And for us, it was not so much, hey, I want to sell comic books. It was like, hey, let's build a place that people can come together.
Right.
So that was really what it was.
Yeah.
Yep. One that we always wanted for ourselves too. Have that magic.
Because there wasn't a comic book store in Mayfield, just that bookstore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
We had a spinner rack, and we had a
Yeah.
bookstore and a couple of long boxes. And even if we drove to the next town where there were bookstores,
Yeah.
they didn't. I mean, they had like a newsstand. They had some stuff, but it was hard to get to. Our parents, a trip to Paducah was a trip. It
That
was
was
a
a
day
special
trip.
night?
Oh, it was a
A
special
special
day.
day, okay.
It was
Okay.
for sure.
I mean, it would be like you'd go out there in the morning and spend the day shopping and get dinner and then come home. It was a thing.
Wow.
Maybe if you're lucky, you got to see a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had a movie
super
theater in our
treat.
town, but it was only.
Yeah,
Trip to Ponderosa, maybe.
No, what was there?
Well,
What was the jam out there
I mean, what in Mayfield?
in
Or,
Paducah? What was it? What was the?
I mean, if you were super lucky, you go to Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz Pizza.
Showbiz Pizza
Oh.
was big.
yeah.
If we went to El Chico's, was kind of the place back then.
I forgot about El Chico.
El Chico's was kind of the Paducah restaurant that we go to. Yeah,
Well, we also Paducah was also where we played
get some
Little League,
fajitas.
like Little League soccer.
Oh, okay.
And there was, I mean, Mayfield had some stuff, but they didn't have soccer or anything like that. So if you wanted to do that, you had to go to Paducah.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
which I never did.
it was just it was a thing.
Yeah.
And when the mall opened up, it was like, wow.
It was the mall in the '80s. That's how big of a scene that was. That was
Like a half an hour from your house, Paducah, 45 minutes.
It was a half hour
Okay.
ish.
half
Probably 45 minutes at the mall because it was on the other side of town.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say 20, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
At least.
depending on where you're going. Yeah, if you go downtown, that's when it would take you a little longer.
Paducah's got a weird. Ever been to Paducah?
It wasn't
Once.
interstate friendly.
So like the downtown is not like in the center of town. It's on like the east side of town.
Yeah.
or the south side, whatever. Like it's like but you drive down this one long street to get to.
Oh.
But it's on the river,
Yeah.
so you drive to the river, and it's actually really cool, for what it is. And even still today, like you can still see some of the old buildings, and there's still some cool shops to go into. Restaurants down there. They've actually got a boutique hotel. There's actually a big convention center there.
Oh wow.
And then you can
Big theater, like.
Old time theater.
What's an
Like-
older
Yeah.
theater?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say.
No, I'm talking about the Carson Center, which gets Broadway
the new
plays.
one. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
They also had one of those old.
Yeah.
Like you go down this little alley, and there's like a theater back there.
Mhm.
Oh
It's
wow.
really cool.
Oh
Still open.
jeez.
Yeah, it's a brick alley.
Oh.
And then you could walk down to the riverfront and just watch the barges go by.
So I bet back in the heyday that was pretty cool downtown.
Very.
I mean, just
Very,
the shops
very.
and everything.
Well, comic store. They had a comic store down there.
Oh wow.
It's still there, but it's not downtown anymore.
Oh.
Let's see. If we ever went downtown, I don't remember what we went down there for. It was like going to. I remember seeing E.T. down there.
Yeah.
That movie
Oh.
theater.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I mean, like it
I
was
saw
J.C.
Song of
Penney's
the
or something.
South there. Is that what it's called?
Song of the South. Yeah.
Ocarinas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Wow. In the theater.
in the theater.
That's a hard movie to find these days.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's a band movie.
It's a band movie.
Yeah.
Sure is. Yep.
Zippity dude.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Okay.
days.
Well,
All
But
right.
thank you guys.
No,
This
man,
was a lot
no
of fun.
problem. No
Thank
problem.
Appreciate you coming.
well, Tom, thanks for being on the show.
you. Absolutely.
And we will see you in the shop.
Good
We'll see the rest
fellowship.
of you guys in the shop. And
Yes, son.
yes, son.
Bye, son.
Bye, son.
Bye, son.